the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Tuesday.
It is Tuesday.
Tuesday. I have to keep saying it.
It is not Monday.
I'm annoying my listeners because I have to keep saying Tuesday. Otherwise, I'm going to call it Monday.
Well, it is Tuesday, so welcome to it. Hope everyone had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Got to spend time with family and friends, and hopefully spent some time out yesterday honoring those that we honor at Memorial Day. I did go to, we had quite a few ceremonies. I know American Legion Post 61 and 28 had their Memorial Day events out at Memory Lawn Cemetery and at South Park, and then the VFW, the Chaves County Veterans had their ceremony out at McBride. I did get to see the one over at Memory Lawn. That was very nice. I didn't get a chance to check out the other ones, but
I haven't had a chance to check into anything. But do you know if anything was happening yesterday at the church, the Presbyterian church, I believe it is?
Maybe, I don't know.
Because I saw, the reason I ask is I saw several police vehicles heading towards that direction.
Really?
I have no idea what was going on.
That's not on my radar. I have no knowledge.
I was yesterday about 6 o'clock. I was out and about, and I happened to see.
Well, hopefully it was for
6. It was
something planned and something not planned.
It was unexpected.
Yeah.
That way.
Were the cars with lights and sirens? Yeah, I feel like that may have been not planned.
Probably not planned. No, probably
just a hunch. I don't
something,
know.
Something off the cuff.
Yes. Well, happy Tuesday. Welcome back to it. Of course, kids, teachers. My wife, she was looking at the back of her eyelids when I got up this morning.
I bet.
So
she's gonna be staring down at a TV and a cup of coffee here in about an hour, I'm sure.
She's probably up now, but if I was her, I wouldn't be.
Right? Dude, I mentioned this to Kim too because we happened to see each other on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mentioned to Kim, I'm like, I got my work done on Saturday, officially for the rest of the weekend, and was so excited that I didn't have to be back at work until Tuesday that I had literally 2 full actual days that I didn't have to do anything radio related.
Yeah, it's nice.
And I was happy as a schoolboy. I was the happiest little kid in the class.
Nice for a little downtime.
I can't even fathom what I would do with 2 months off.
Yeah.
I think I would lose my mind.
Well, I think boredom sets in at some time unless you
find yourself a hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
You start building models or something.
Spend
you come
money.
home and Kim's just snapping pieces out of a. I'm putting together a GTO.
Check out the USS America I did in the other room.
She's gonna start working on planes now that she's all mavericked up. By the way,
we did go see Top Gun.
How was the old gun?
Entertaining. It was entertaining.
That's not the answer I expected from you.
For me, it was entertaining.
It wasn't good.
Good is, if you're looking for a fun time, yes, it's it checks all those boxes.
Okay.
If you love Top Gun for OG original over down now, you're gonna love this movie. It brings back all the warm and fuzzies from Top Gun. It
scratches the nostalgia itch.
Yeah, absolutely. But for someone that was in the military and worked on airplanes, it's a stretch.
Sure. Well, you don't go
like
into
the first
Top
one.
Gun looking for realism.
I know, but
Does
it's-
it? Okay, now let me ask you. Since you saw the first Top Gun before service, I'm assuming.
Correct.
So does having the lens of realism now destroy it for you to see a movie like that?
Yeah, that first Top Gun.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Have you ever gone back since and watched it in its entirety since your service?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I have.
And it still holds up?
Entertaining value, yes, but tactics
Same answer. Got
and
it.
all of it is complete not.
Well, I don't
real.
think you're going into Top Gun with like notes, like a notepad.
I know, but they claim like it's like the whole parts of the movie. They claim that like the flying and all that, and you know what, the cinematography and the is awesome. It's amazing, but for it's like from someone from my angle, it's like trying to tell somebody, hey, I got a good war movie for you,
Right.
and we all know, we just because we've never been to war doesn't mean we, you don't know for a fact. But one thing you would know, if like all the soldiers are sitting there with finger guns going pew 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 in the war movie, you're like, that's not real. That looks. When I watch Top Gun and I see what some of the stuff they're doing, that's to me the very same as them going with their fingers going pew 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 and saying, oh, we saved the day, and I'm like. Yeah, that's how it equates.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Sure. I would just not watch movies like that if that was like a problem for me.
Well, I get entertained by all the stuff. I love it, but I'm just like, it's like watching the Fast and Furious movies.
Mm-hmm.
We all know there's no way you can do half the things they do with cars in that movie.
Right.
The tactics and I'm not saying like what some of the stuff and moves they're pulling, those are legit moves and all that stuff. My whole point is, and I don't want to say this without spoiling the movie, but the whole movie's a waste of time. Like, that would have never happened that way in the real world.
Right.
It would not be an issue the way they make the issue an issue. That's all I'm saying. We would have done a different way that would have been less risky, and it would have been a boring movie.
It would have been as much fun to watch. They made it. They dramatized the story a bit.
I'm not going to play. Well, I guess I am going to play. Military loyalties here, but Air Force would have done it different. It would have been a lot less risky and a lot more effective. Just saying.
Sure. But now I want you to remember back to your actual service and how mundane and how just boring and time-consuming, the tedious, most aspects of your day was.
Yeah.
Would you go watch that?
Actually, I've seen. You joke. There was this is back in the infancy of meme and video days and social media, but there was a meme out there, and it was the Top Gun, and it was the whole thing and all that. And it showed airmen and stuff, but they're like mopping floors and painting rocks and doing just various. But it's all the highway to these like mopping. It's pretty funny. You say that,
right?
Yeah.
That reminds me. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I brought these up. Have you ever seen the Cleveland Tourism Board videos?
I don't think
they're
have.
not official.
Okay,
but basically. It's like, Cleveland, we got ourselves a rocks and stuff. Cleveland, our biggest building's 4 stories high. It's like telling all these things. It's like Cleveland, but then it's like all these really horrible things. And the last line is, at least we're not Detroit. We're not Detroit.
Those are funny, but no, I've not seen them.
That just reminds me of what you're talking about. It's like, the mundane aspects of, the danger zone.
But the movie's entertaining. My wife.
Somebody has to mop the corridor into the danger zone.
It does. That just doesn't happen by itself.
That's right. And our foyer is squeaky clean.
It is usually because there's people. It's like, what do you got going on? You're not doing nothing. Go polish something. And then they go
or shine some stuff.
But my wife said best movie she's seen in a while. She was all about it. It was entertaining. I enjoyed it. I walked out of there saying that was an entertaining movie. A lot of fun. Great. It checks all the boxes. But if you're looking for realism, and that's not what's going to happen.
I walked out of the movie with so many questions, and just cut to Mike and Kim walking out of the theater going, how does Tom Cruise still get work?
But I'm hoping the movie does what the first one did, and you saw a big resurgence in Air Force and naval military people signing up because they're like, ooh, I want to be like Top Gun.
It's true.
So I hope it brings that back because the Navy did work with them, and so a lot of the stuff you see and all that's very cool. I will say this: the tactics are much more believable in this one than they were in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, they're still BS.
Right. Right. So don't go into a military experience. Don't enlist in the military thinking you're going to get Tom Cruise and
part of the
a bunch of beach volleyball.
Part of the problem too, and they did a little better on this one, is they hype up enemy aircraft in this show, in the movie, and they make like the new, I guess you could say the Eastern Bloc version of the Super Fighter is out and all that, and they make it seem very elite. And
is it a nondescript enemy that they're fighting, or?
Yeah, it's Russian-like.
Okay.
But the aircraft and stuff, like in the first one, they're like old T-38s and stuff, but they're trying to make them into whatever the latest MiG is and all that stuff. And I know better. They do better with this one.
So you're coming into this with an actually mindset? Okay. Well, that's why you're not enjoying it.
Well,
you got to suspend your own knowledge
and
for a few
I have
minutes.
for the most part. But some of it is a little...
Sure.
Pew pew.
It's kind of hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to fully suspend, your disbelief or whatever. But this one you might have to do if you're going to enjoy something like this.
I mean, but there's so much that it's not like I just can't because I don't want spoilers. There's so much I could say about. Let me tell you about this happened,
Right.
but at some point I'm spoiling. Content in the movie for people, and I don't want to do that yet.
Sure.
First Top Gun, you guys have had enough time to see.
Yeah.
The second one, no.
We'll spoil that one for you.
Yeah. Let me give you the rundown.
Yes.
We do have a full slate today. Scheduled a call-in, I believe, will be. Today will be Michelle Garcia Holmes, Congressional District CD1 candidate for Republicans here in the primary. She's running there for that seat. She's going to join us, I believe, via the telly here in just a bit. We're going to talk with the folks from Roswell Dragway, Alien City Dragway, here in the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15. Talk about some of the events and things they've got coming up. And then we got two guests in the 9 o'clock hour. We're going to have the folks from the Roswell Literacy Council join us, give us an update. And then we're going to have, I believe it'll be Barbara Gomez for Homes for Heroes join us as well in the 9 o'clock hour, give us an update on what's happening there, too. And then, of course, whatever, we'll have all of your features and all that good stuff and whatever else we can come up with for today's show.
I've told this story to so many people. I don't remember how I've told it on the radio. But you mentioned Roswell Dragway. Did I tell you about my little mini adventure?
I don't think
towards that area. I'll save it to next hour, and I'll mention it then. But I got taken on a little adventure last week that took me to a place in Roswell I didn't even know existed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
That's a tease. All right. It is 18 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure is parked over our area, so we get lots of sun today. It will be hot. Our afternoon highs hovering right around the 100-degree mark, getting a little gusty in the afternoon, too. Then tonight, clear and we'll cool off to the low 60s, and then a little bit of a change for Wednesday with a cold front backing into our area. We will have some sunshine, but we could get a few afternoon showers, and we'll be in the upper 80s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 66 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity at a low 14% with winds out of the northwest at 8 miles per hour. Going to be another hot one today. Not Saturday hot, but like Sunday, Monday hot for today. Looking at sunny hot with highs right around 100. Winds will be out of the north today, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Mostly clear for tonight with an overnight low of 64 degrees. Winds will be out of the south 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then beginning tomorrow for the next couple days, they're saying there's a chance. Moisture is in the forecast beginning tomorrow. Chances increase, it kind of ebbs and flows a little bit. Like tomorrow, Wednesday, we're only looking at a 20% chance at afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Mostly sunny, but cooler. 87 for a high tomorrow. So we're going to drop a good 10 to 15 degrees here over the next 24 hours after today here. Winds will be out of the north, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, our chance of rain bumps up to 40%. Mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 60. Winds will be out of the northeast, 15 to 20 miles per hour. However, those winds will drop down 10 to 15 after midnight. Thursday, we're looking at a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, once again, mainly for the afternoon. We're only supposed to hit mid-70s on Thursday. Cloudy and 76 for a high. Winds will be out of the northeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday night, we're looking at a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 61. Friday, we're looking at a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Once again, mainly for the afternoon, partly cloudy, 86 for a high on Friday, 30% chance of rain Friday night as well, mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 60, and then everything warms back up for the weekend. Saturday, mostly sunny, 96 for a high, sunny with highs back near 100 on Sunday, and then next week starting out sunny, hot 101s. But we got some moisture chances between Wednesday and Friday. Let's do the rain dances, knock on wood, wash your cars, do all the things we need to do. Make sure we get some good moisture here over the next couple days because we desperately need it. All right, it is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's take a quick commercial break. Like I said, Michelle Garcia-Holmes, congressional candidate for CD1, is scheduled to call us or join us here in a bit. But first, let's take a quick break. Your livestock report and all that good stuff coming up next. Don't go away.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A lighter run this week on Tuesday following Memorial Day, but a good selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality calves and light yearlings with condition. We expect to sell 500 head, break it down like this: 50 to 75 weighing cows and bulls, 25 to 50 pairs and bred cows, 450 calves and yearlings. Today's sale will include 25 to 35 cow-calf pairs and bred cows, mostly with good calves and young cows. 60 calves. Emil Keeney & Sons, Cornudas, Texas. Excellent quality black, white face Angus crosses. Cattle wean 60-plus days. Thin condition, 550 pounds. Also 50 calves off the Emil Keeney & Sons. F1, mostly tiger stripe calves. Cattle are weaned, medium condition. 550 pounds. 25 calves, Mr. Cecil Conklin, Lake Arthur, New Mexico. Quality black, white face Angus cross calves, medium condition, 550 pounds. 24 light yearlings, James and Dina Floyd, Wink, Texas. Quality black Angus and Brangus crosses, 800 pounds. 25 light yearlings, Passamore Land and Cattle Company, Monahans, Texas. Quality black Angus and Brangus crosses, 800 pounds. Sale time this morning, 9 o'clock. Sell pairs of bred cows, 9:30. Be selling calves and yearlings about 10 o'clock. Light Memorial Day run today, so don't be late. We expect to sell 500 head. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
This is Luis Sanchez, your Republican candidate for Congress in New Mexico's 1st District. I grew up in Albuquerque in a small little trailer in the South Valley and was the first person in my family to go to college and live the American dream. I've worked in the medical field for 28 years and am one of the owners of Caliber's indoor shooting ranges. I'm running for Congress because I see that American dream slipping away from the next generation. Socialists like Melanie Stansbury and AOC have inflation out of control in this country, and we have the highest unemployment rate in the nation. And those radical socialists won't stop until our country is ruined. In Congress, I'll uphold our conservative values, fight for all of our freedoms, just like I did when the governor tried to shut down New Mexico's small businesses. I am asking for your vote early or on June 7th. I'll work hard to protect your constitutional rights, secure our elections, and fight for real immigration reform to secure our borders. It's time to take our state and country back. I'm Luis Sanchez, and I approve this message. Paid for by Sanchez for New Mexico.
You know what happens in the spring. It's cleanup time, and AC&B, HF Sinclair, Navajo Refining, and the Boy Scouts are at it again to help clean up our community. The Scouts will come to your house and haul off items that you need to dispose of and have no way of hauling. The dates for pickup are May 28th, June 4, and June 11. Just call 575-513-0143 and let me know when, where, and what. Take advantage of this free service and let's make Artesia clean and beautiful.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. The education assistance I received made it possible for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped get me to the first day at my dream job, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job, plus the other benefits possible from the Army National Guard, helped me become a first-time homeowner. Also, part of my role as a National Guard soldier means I know that I can be one of the first to respond and help my community if disaster ever strikes. I'm extremely proud that I get to serve my community, and that first step I took by joining the Army National Guard has made all the difference in my life. Talk to your local recruiter or visit NationalGuard.com to find out what firsts are available to you in the Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard, aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
The tool used to measure your feet at the shoe store is called a Brannock device. The person that measures your feet at home for no reason is called a creep with a foot fetish. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 26 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us on the phone this morning, Michelle Garcia-Holmes, candidate for Congress here in CD1. Good morning. How are you doing, ma'am?
Good morning. Thanks for having me on, Mike. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. And how's the campaign going? I know we're getting warm here as primaries right around the corner. So I imagine kind of doing a lot of last-minute pushes around the district.
Yes, we are. We're getting ready to slide into home base for a home run. We've been doing really, really well. We've been talking to all the voters across the district. The north side of Roswell is a new part of the district, so we've been trying to get into contact with some of the voters there, let them know, you're in District 1 now, and some new people will be on your ballot. So, kind of do a little research and check things out.
Just let me introduce myself.
Yeah, let me introduce myself.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting ride, interesting journey. I mean, talking to a lot of different people, letting them know, I have a 30-year background in law enforcement, and I think that's what we need right now. I've been endorsed by one of our local papers here in the district, and that's kind of what they cited. I'm the right candidate for the right time.
Gotcha.
With a lot of the issues that are going on, the open borders, that's a huge problem. Biden supports, and Biden's administration supports. And we've just got to do something about that in Congress. We have to put a stop to the nonsense. Open borders are dangerous.
I was kind of curious, and I'm just generally just wondering when, obviously getting some different territory in the district now. Obviously, looking from your perspective, and we talk about Roswell here and bringing probably a few more conservatives into CD1 as they did the redistricting here. But I'm kind of curious as you kind of go to some parts here versus parts that were, I guess, traditionally or originally or before in parts of CD1. Are the issues the same, or are you starting to see a few different unique issues that some of the constituents are bringing to you, or is it pretty universal? They're all screaming, wanting the same changes.
It's a little bit of the same and a little bit different, right? The issues in Roswell are not necessarily the same issues as in, let's pick like Ruidoso. Sure. Right? I mean, they're a little bit different. Ruidoso's been suffering with some, just horrendous fires. They're a tourist community. They need help in different arenas.
Sure.
Roswell, though, a lot of people closer to the border suffer with, a crime issue, cartel issue, drug trafficking, human trafficking. I know I talked to a few of the law enforcement officers there in Roswell as well, and just kind of listening to what their issues are versus, issues in some of the other parts of the district, like, say, Moriarty. Moriarty's part of the district, are completely different, but then somewhat the same.
Sure.
When you think about the crime issues or drug trafficking, things like that. So it's been kind of interesting listening to the entire district, but I feel like since they did redistricting, they made all three districts very viable for the conservatives to win this go-round.
Sure, it could be a blessing in disguise, kind of, or at least bring some balance, maybe.
Yeah, so, some people might feel like, why did they put Roswell in District 1, that's never been our area. That's never been our district. But when you look at the fact that New Mexico, in all three districts is comprised of some city, some rural, some, oil. Sure. Oil and gas is, a huge thing in New Mexico. So when you look at the three districts, there's just, to me, there's a balance. There's a balance in the districts, and it really makes all three districts very viable this year for us to win. So imagine if we end up with three conservative congresswomen, in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Imagine what the future of New Mexico is going to look like. All three of us working together to promote New Mexico, to lift it up, to lift up our oil and gas industry, to start getting some of those requests for leases in the oil and gas arena to start to flow, to start to be approved. Let's make this happen in New Mexico, because we're dead last in pretty much everything.
Absolutely.
When it comes to the good things, our education system is just horrific, and it's really sad. And that's what I hear about all over the district. I hear about our education system. I hear about oil and gas. People are paying too much at the pump. In New Mexico, because we helped make America energy independent, let's be realistic. We should be paying about $1 a gallon. We shouldn't be paying high prices at the pump.
Absolutely.
It's just unrealistic to think that, because we want to depend on foreign oil now, we should make Americans suffer.
Sure.
That is a very unrealistic thought process by the Biden administration.
Yeah, it does not make sense. And
it doesn't.
And when we talk about oil and gas and things, and one thing that I've always said here is they talk about greener policies and things, and I'm like, okay. All right, that's a goal. Let's talk about it. But when you say, okay, well, we're going to stop drilling, where we have all these regulations and everything, but we're going to go rely on oil from China or Russia or the Middle East, wherever.
Venezuela.
Yeah.
We're depending on these other countries for our oil and gas industry. And, I think it was really President Trump was on the right track when he talked about making America energy independent. And energy independence is crucial for a country. And he was on the right track. And having New Mexico be, third in the nation, we've got the Permian Basin. It's premium oil, better than Saudi Arabia. So why are we depending on these foreign countries? We shouldn't be.
Sure.
We shouldn't be. We need to take care of our own first, in my opinion.
Well, and I would even argue that by us doing it, we're actually going greener and things, because we actually have regulations and things that eliminate some of the greenhouse, all the stuff that they worry about. We are much better at not polluting it than the places we're actually getting the oil from right now. And so I'm like, from the green standpoint, it's like, wouldn't it be better for us to, let's face it, till there's a more viable option, all of us rely on oil and gas, and will for probably most of our lives until science moves to something more advanced. But right now, we're talking, let's be green. Okay, well, let's drill here where we actually have regulations and work with the nature and things. Where in other parts of the world they're like, oh, there's a juicy vein, I don't care what we got to do to get to it, let's get to it. And that's my argument. It's like, if you're for green, and all of us want a healthy planet. I don't think there's no one on the planet that doesn't want that, but
exactly.
Why?
Exactly.
Rather that, let's be realistic about it instead of saying, "Oh, let's shut all our stuff down and stick our head in the sand and let the rest of the world pollute us," or let's be proactive and do it, a cleaner way. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? What I'm saying is,
you've exactly nailed it. You've nailed it. It's our oil and gas industry is one of the cleanest industries in the world, and if you want America to have energy independence, you want to pay less at the pump, then it's drill, baby, drill. I'll tell you, we are one of the energy leaders in the nation, and taking away our good-paying jobs like that is just egregious. And, I know we're a long way from Washington, but we need a voice there that's going to speak up and going to say, look, let me educate you a bit about New Mexico. You don't need a passport to go there.
Sure. It is part of the United States.
It is. And, it's not just the oil and gas industry. We have a lot of rare earth minerals, natural resources, copper.
Sure.
Our mining industry is just tremendous here. And I'll tell you, it's important to explore other arenas, other areas of energy. Some of the things that I've heard talked about on the campaign trail, as well as the gubernatorial candidates, as well as, myself and other candidates. We've been talking about small nuclear reactors. Mm-hmm. We've got to start thinking about the future and different sources of energy. And that's not a bad idea. Sure. But when we have these traditional energy sources, like natural gas, petroleum, we've even got nuclear here. I mean, we've got to explore other arenas as well. And I don't think any of us want to be the great polluters of the world, right?
Sure.
I mean, I grew up in a generation where, we were taught, to keep our earth clean, things like that.
Be good stewards of the land. Yeah.
You're right. Being good stewards of the land. But let's just be realistic here. We're one of the cleanest industries in the nation, in the world, and these energy sectors provide good paying jobs. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's about. Bottom line, it's about feeding your family, being able to have the American dream, buy a home, have kids, and have a great education system.
Absolutely.
Mike, this is what's troubling me right now. We're spending $22,000 per child in our education system. Where's the success? Where are our success numbers? Well, they're last in the nation. We're 51st in education if you count Washington, D.C. 51st. So what's going on? We're spending the most money and getting the least amount of kids graduating, the least amount of kids who can read and write when they graduate. These kids are funneling into working with drug cartels. They're funneling into gangs. They're not able to get jobs when they graduate. Where do you think they're going to end up? If we're not successful in our education system, which the oil and gas industry has been very supportive over the years,
mm-hmm.
What's going to happen to New Mexico? We're going to stay dead last, folks. And that's the sad thing. We can do better than this. We need to spend our money wisely. We need to hold the elected accountable. And right now, because we've been under Democrat-dominated elected for over 90 years,
mm-hmm.
I say, hey, if you're still voting Democrat, then you're voting for dead last. That's got to stop.
Yeah.
That has to stop. And that will be my message going into November, because we don't want to be dead last anymore. And we want to start actually not just, walking or talking the talk. We want to walk the talk right into success for our kids. This is wrong. This is really wrong. What's been going on for all these years.
Well, they always say, what's the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over
Right.
again and expecting different results. And that's kind of what we've
Exactly.
been doing is, and that's, and I've said this for years, I mean, I'm a conservative, with the way I think, the way I conduct my life. But at this point, I would just love to see balance in New Mexico. It's because I'm one of those folks that you need both sides in the room to get good government, in my opinion. You can't a healthy debate, the actual getting actual good government policies coming out. I think you need all parties at the table for that to happen, and New Mexico hasn't had that for a long time. And when you have one party at the table calling all the shots, and not really anyone to present or defend the alternative here, and have a real chance of making headway with it, that's something we haven't had in this state, and you've seen the results of that. Like you were saying, the numbers and the stats don't lie. Let's talk about let's put everybody in the room at least, and let's make Santa Fe at least balanced to where there's actual good representation for everyone, and actual good policy and debate can come out of some of this stuff. And that's, I'd love to just get back to there, and that would be a huge victory. But we got, the only way we start is at primaries and general elections here. That's how we fix it. So that's the big part.
And we've got to get Republicans out to vote in the midterms. They generally don't like to get out and vote in the midterms, but there's a lot of pocketbook issues going on right now. Inflation's out of control. We're paying too much for food, too much for gasoline. People are having to make the hard decisions. Do I buy a gallon of milk? Do I buy a gallon of gas?
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of people on government assistance in New Mexico. We've got to get people, get them some opportunity, get them some jobs they actually want to go and start working in. Businesses don't want to come to New Mexico, especially ones that pay high-paying jobs, because of two reasons: the crime problems we have, the drug cartels, creating a lot of those crime problems, in our education system.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to share with you, Mike, I worked 8 legislative sessions, and I worked with the Attorney General's office back under Attorney General King. I knew the King family. That's how I ended up working for Gary King for those 8 legislative sessions. Of course, I worked on a lot of the crime issues, a lot of tough on crime legislation, toughened up our child predator laws, passed the first human trafficking bill. I worked collaboratively with a group to help do that.
Mm-hmm.
Started the first statewide government investigative corruption division. And then I was also the liaison to the congressional delegation. And that was huge. I got to travel back to Washington, D.C., and I got to work with Senator Bingaman, Senator Domenici, and it's just like you said, working collaboratively with both sides to get the job done. And it was a different climate back then. It was a different time. Democrats were real Democrats. Republicans were real Republicans. None of this rhino stuff, none of this, far left, extremist liberal. They were, who you knew who you were dealing with.
Sure.
Now you just never know who you're dealing with. So I do like the concept of what you're talking about, but I think it's difficult in this day and age because we have a lot of people who call themselves progressive liberals, and they're very difficult to work with because they have a very specific agenda. They want to change the direction of our nation. They want to change the direction of how things are done in New Mexico. And I think they've been in office for quite some time. The Democratic Party's been hijacked by a lot of these far left-leaning individuals, and that makes it difficult to do exactly what you were talking about, because I couldn't imagine back in the day having to we had a grant that I was working on that I talked to Domenici and Bingaman about, and it was to help our farmers and ranchers, and it was an educational grant to teach them, lock up your chemicals. A lot of these chemicals are being stolen from you because they're being utilized to make methamphetamine. And so, going back and forth, talking to the congressional delegation, it was easy to explain the whole situation. But now with people's agenda, far left agenda, they don't care about our farmers. They don't care about our farmers' chemicals. They don't want you to farm. They're voting for things like Keep It in the Ground Act. They don't want you to even pump oil and gas or be in any of these industries in New Mexico. They don't even want you to ranch. They don't like cows anymore.
Sure.
It's like, that is not New Mexico, folks. That's unrealistic. We have ranchers. We have farmers. We have the oil and gas industry. But they're so far left that they don't want us to have any of these industries here.
Sure.
And so it's really difficult to now in my mind, run across the hall and deal with a far left progressive and talk to them about realistic things that are happening to each of our communities that we thrive off of, and try and get them to be supportive.
Sure.
So, and it's a small community on the left, that far left.
Mm-hmm.
I have talked to some of the Democrats in, some of the counties I have. I have DeBaca County, and I have Guadalupe County, Torrance County, and you've got a few Democrats here, but they actually are the old school Democrats. They are much more conservative, than these new far left progressives that have kind of taken over our
Sure.
political communities. And we've got to get some of those to run for office, so that we can actually have realistic conversations and get the job done here in New Mexico. And I think it's going to be a different year. I think people are fed up. They're fed up with the high gas prices for sure.
Sure.
And they want things to be stopped in Washington. Enough is enough from Joe Biden. I'm not sure the man even knows, what day it is or what's going on in our country. It's really sad,
Yeah.
sad state of affairs there. And so, there's a lot of puppeteers behind the world leader here, but the nation's leader. But I just feel like it's got to stop. It's got to stop. His open border policies are actually just the worst thing for our families. They're just processing these people at the border, and we used to do it much more organized, and we've got laws in place that we just need to enforce.
Sure.
And stop what's going on at the border. These asylum seekers that aren't really asylum seekers. How are we going to get to the bottom of that? It's ridiculous the way his administration is just processing people. Because, I was reading something the other day, Mike, and I want to share this with the audience. There's over 1 million people that are waiting for hearings, for immigration hearings.
Wow.
That's
a huge backlog.
And you got to think about that number. That is a huge backlog. How are we going to get to that when we suffer from a lack of judges, a lack of immigration hearing officers, a lack of people in the Homeland Security industry. And then, Biden's open borders are not going to work for America the way he's doing it. We need to be much more organized about it. We have a farming and a ranching community here. I've been talking to some of the farmers in the district, and they didn't plant as much as they usually do because they didn't have the help.
Wow.
So what I'm hearing is we're not getting, the workers that we need to come into America. They're not getting as much help. They're not getting as much of people signing up, to work. And so to me, that's not working for America. The open border policies that Biden has right now are not working for Americans. They're not working for America, and they're dangerous. They're dangerous for our families. I think I was reading another statistic and talking to a few other people about this that live along the border. The sex offenders crossing the border, we've had a 2,500% increase on the sex offenders. And this is the thing. They're processing these people. They're finding this out, and then what are they doing with them? Well, we don't know, because right now under Mayorkas, the Director of Homeland Security under Biden, they're not being transparent, so they're not releasing the numbers. So they're keeping Americans in the dark now because they have a fast and furious agenda. And so, to me, that's one of the hugest problems we have right now, is that border issue.
Well, and like you said, if we're not getting all the information, then how are people supposed to make educated, decisions on what to do if we're not getting all the details?
Right. Right.
We're about out of time, but I do want to touch on one more area real quick while I have you. Of course, with the tragedy that happened in Uvalde last week, and that brings the gun control issue back to the forefront, and the tragedy that happened there. I'm curious. We're seeing what we're seeing on the news, but I'm always curious about what you as actual people talking to constituents, talking to the community. I like to get that filter of the media out of the way. What are you hearing from people when people are reacting and talking to you about the tragedy that happened in Texas there? I'm curious, what are people saying to you? Not, I just want to get that filter of the media out and their spin. And I'm just curious, like, what's boots on the ground people when they come and talk to you, what are they asking you? What are they saying to you about this issue?
Well, of course, people are very heartbroken about it. I mean, my gosh, it's just a tragedy of huge proportions. These families, I just, of course, my husband and I, we're Christian. We've been praying for the families. We've had discussions like that with a lot of the people in the district, we've got to pray for these people. But I'll tell you, we've got to get out of the prayer room and we have to act.
Sure.
We have to act immediately. This has been a problem for many, many years. And, I've been away from the Attorney General's office for probably almost a decade now, right? And we were talking about this back then. I actually taught active shooter training to our state offices because we were having issues back then with active shooters. And, our school system is really a mess. When you think about a lot of these schools have not taken action to secure their schools, and now they're soft targets for offenders like this to come in. And you've got to think about, this is something that one mother told me. She goes, my child goes to school every day, and instead of thinking about education, my child's thinking about, is someone going to come in here and kill me?
Right.
When we were kids, Mike, we didn't think that
at all.
Thing
on
we
our
were
brains.
Sitting there.
Yeah.
That was the last thing on our minds, and that needs to be the last thing on our children's minds when they walk into their school. These schools need to be fortified. They need to have one entrance. I mean, teaching active shooter training, we used to teach the federal model, run, fight, hide. You've got to make a decision on what you're going to do with your school, and you have to decide, what if a predator comes here and comes into the school, and an active shooter comes into the school with the intent to kill every one of these students. I mean, you better have your game on in school. You better make sure that doesn't happen to these innocent children. This is egregious. And let me tell you what's even more egregious, Mike. I was listening to a podcast of Senator Cruz talking about a bill that he sponsored. I can't remember exactly when he said he sponsored it, but it was probably over a year ago. He sponsors this bill, and it gets to the Senate floor, and it's a very good bill. It's money to fortify our schools. It's money to do active shooter training.
Mm-hmm.
It's money for school resource officers, so that we actually have armed resource officers in the schools. This isn't unusual to have armed resource officers in the schools. I don't know why the liberals are screaming about it. How they have armed individuals all over in Washington, D.C. Before you enter, the Capitol, before you enter any building, you have armed security all over Washington, D.C. So why are they acting like this is so unusual? Why aren't they running into Congress to get bills passed today to help our children?
Yeah.
Because it's all political rhetoric, Mike. They play the political game, and it's all political rhetoric because they want to go after our Second Amendment instead of securing our schools and taking care of our children. You know, the Second Amendment was written there for a reason, and in our Constitution for a reason. And why they start screaming Second Amendment instead of saying, you know what, we do need to fortify our schools. We do need to do more in the mental health arena.
Sure.
When I used to teach active shooter training, the one commonality with these individuals who were doing the shooting is bullying. Well, we've been talking about bullying for years. We've been talking about taking care of it in our schools for years. I've talked to teachers and parents. Kids are still being bullied in schools. These education systems need to be education systems. They need to be, bullying needs to be just pushed out of schools 100%. I mean, these young people, we need to, if we see something, we need to say something. We've got social media nowadays. You can go to someone's Facebook. You can go to their any of their social media accounts. Twitter, our young people, a lot of them are on Instagram. A lot of them are on these what's the one I'm trying to remember?
Snapchats or Twitter or Facebook. Yeah.
This young man was on social media posting pictures of himself with an AR-15. I mean, let's be realistic. If you see something, say something.
Sure.
Why are we afraid to talk about individuals posting pictures like that? We shouldn't be. But the far left has said, we can't do profiling. We can't look at people and say, anything about what they're doing or how they're dressing or how they're acting. And it's like, well, back in the day, that would have been what we call in law enforcement a clue.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, come on, guys. We need to live in the real world. We need to stop being afraid of saying, speaking up. We need to, make sure that we fortify our schools. We need to have school resource officers in every school. We need to have one entrance going into these schools. And we need to assure our kids that we care about you. We care about you. When you sit in that chair in the morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, we care about you. Yeah. And another thing, Mike, I'm going to just throw this out there. We need prayer back in school.
Absolutely.
We need prayer back in school. We have lost our way. We have stopped fighting for our beliefs. We need prayer back in school. Our children need to be able to have a resource, and that's God. That is the number one resource. They need to be able to say a prayer at the beginning of the day and a pledge. And remember, why this country is so great. It's great because we're fighting for it to always be great every day. Yeah. And it just breaks my heart to see the fact that we took prayer out of school and they've become very soft targets for criminals, for predators, for people who suffer from mental illness. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. And people always say, oh, it's gun violence. No, it's criminal violence. Mm-hmm. It's mentally ill who get their hands on guns. It's criminal violence. So let's start locking these people up. Yeah. What is up with this revolving door? It needs to stop. We want justice. We want justice in America, and that's the kind of justice we deserve. is these criminals who get their hands on guns, who prey on people, robbing, raping, stealing, thieving. It's time to put those thugs in jail and behind bars where they belong. And it's time we take a look at the mental health system and say, look, we need facilities to help these people with their medical conditions, their mental health issues. Instead of just talking about it, we need to start doing it. That's why we have such a huge homeless problem. A lot of these people that are homeless are suffering from mental health issues.
Yeah.
I know my husband and I worked in a ministry for quite some time, volunteering and seeing these individuals, on a weekly basis. And you could identify them by some of their issues. And we've got to do something about the mental health issue in America. Yeah. And enough is enough. This is where I send my children, my grandchildren. My daughter is a teacher. We've had some long conversations about this, and I've talked to her about, active shooters and they've taken measures in her school to do training. But enough is enough, folks. I mean, come on. How many dead children do we have to have? How many dead bodies do we have to pile up from individuals that are committing crimes out there? It's time to put them behind bars. It's time to do something about this issue.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. We could talk for a long longer, but we are officially out of time. I do want to encourage folks to go to your website, votemgh.com. They can learn more about your campaign. Obviously, if they want to contribute, volunteer, all that great stuff, and of course, make sure you get out and vote here on primary day or vote early here. But make sure you get out and vote.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on today, Mike.
Thank you, Michelle. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, that was Michelle Garcia Holmes, candidate for Congress in CD1 here, running as a Republican there. We got to get you into news. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico.
Embargo will retain access to its branch of the key Druzhba pipeline that also supplies Slovakia and the Czech Republic.
The BBC's Jessica Parker. Well, the summer travel season's underway, and it's not pretty.
Blame high gas prices, the war in Ukraine, COVID, sick-outs, pandemic layoffs, bad weather. All of it and more is contributing to travelers' challenges. Many analysts think the number of travelers this summer will match or even surpass pre-pandemic levels. But airlines have thousands fewer employees than they did before the pandemic, and that's contributed to widespread flight cancellations. Airline fares are up, too. And for those who are driving, gas is an eye-popping $4.61 a gallon on average, $1.57 more than a year ago. One tip from the AAA, slow down. I'm Rita Foley.
Firefighters are working to take care of hot spots left by a fire that raged overnight at a chemical plant just southwest of downtown Omaha. Wall Street, the Dow is down 332 points, the NASDAQ off 120 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I'm about to compare a pepper shaker to a cash-out refinance. Hang with me. You know when you're at a restaurant and they ask, would you like some fresh ground pepper? And then they crank that giant tube, but almost nothing comes out? For me, only a certain amount of time is socially acceptable to wait. I know that getting that pepper out might make my life better, but it just seems too impossible. And that's what we hear people say about the cash-out refinance. People realize that the value of their home has gone up like hot pepper the last few years, leaving all this extra money sitting inside their home. But is it too hard to get out? It's Ryan from United Faith Mortgage. If you're interested in cashing out the extra pepper in your home, we're good at doing all the work while you just sit back and relax. And often, your mortgage payment and years in the loan will stay the same. If you'd like to hear about your options,
we are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
The UN says the abuse of civilians and deaths at the hands of the military in Mali have increased sharply this year. The military reportedly backed by outside forces, while Islamic terrorists said to be the chief source of bloodshed in the West African country.
Mali has been battling a jihadist insurgency since 2012. 2 years ago, soldiers who were dismayed by the mounting military losses ousted the elected president Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta. This report does not identify the foreign military elements, but the new junta has sought closer ties with Russia, bringing in personnel that it describes as military instructors, but which France and others say are mercenaries working for the Russian firm Wagner.
The BBC's Richard Hamilton. Inflation in the 19 countries using the euro currency hit a record 8.1% this month. News and analysis at townhall.com. Following recent deadly shootings in the U.S., Canada's government looking at tougher gun restrictions in that country.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced legislation to freeze importing, buying, or selling handguns. The law would also allow for the removal of gun licenses from people involved in acts of domestic violence or criminal harassment such as stalking. The government also plans to fight gun smuggling and trafficking by increasing criminal penalties, providing more tools to investigate firearms crimes, and strengthening border measures. Ron DeRockstra reporting.
The strongest hurricane ever to make landfall in the month of May has roared ashore. Hurricane Agatha battering a sparsely populated stretch of tourist beaches and fishing villages in southern Mexico. However, it quickly weakened as it moved over inland mountains and was downgraded to a tropical storm. As of last night, there have been no reports of any serious damage or injuries from Agatha. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday.
Welcome to it.
It is Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Monday.
Nope.
Despite what your brain wants to tell you.
Every second of the day.
It is Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, with the kids and stuff being off now, it's summer. Maybe that's a little easier to adjust.
No, see, at that point, you just stop caring what day it actually is. I remember being a kid at summertime. You're like, it was Thursday? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know I'm still free. I miss those days.
It's good to be a kid.
It is.
Kids, enjoy your kiddom now while you can.
Right. Youth is wasted on the young. As they say.
Yeah.
But no, live it up.
There's always
go knock a hoop down the street with a stick. Isn't that what the kids doing these days? Playing hopscotch and knocking hoops down the street with sticks.
Playing
well, it's the 20s, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Flapper skirts everywhere. We're drinking martinis.
Playing jacks and
the
marbles.
Roaring 20s, they call it.
I never played jacks as a kid.
I
did marbles. I did a bunch of marbles.
I played jacks, but I was not good at jacks.
Yeah. I never played jacks. I played a lot of marbles, though.
I did it just to see if I could do the bounce grab thing, just to see if I could, and I could do like 2. That was the max I ever had.
Okay.
I was okay with marbles. I was terrible at tiddlywinks. I was the best at pickup sticks. By far the best at pickup sticks. Because for some reason, I've lost this in my later years. I had a super dexterous hand. I had a lot of dexterity.
Very good.
But it's not like that now. I can't play Operation to Save My Soul.
Well, as we get older, we lose those abilities. So.
And the other one, and this is more generational, Pogs.
Oh, yeah.
I
missed the Pogs.
Loved my Pog
I was
collection.
a little old for
great
Pogs.
Pog collection.
I was old for Pogs.
Yeah.
By the time Pogs came out, I was into other things.
I was so into Pogs, I would like beg my parents to go to like let me take my whatever money I had, allowance, whatever, to the hobby store on the weekends so that I could upgrade my slammer collection.
Nice.
Because everybody had the normal slammers. You could get the free ones, the thin plastic ones. I had the best slammers. I had this one. It was I'm vamping because Mike's taking notes. Yeah. I had this one slammer. It was silver razor blade shaped, had an 8-ball sticker on it. This thing was like a pound. It was like a professional Pog slammer, and I used to destroy the kids on the block with that slammer.
Wasn't there value to Pogs like cards, like collector's cards?
Yeah,
like
there was
some were worth like actual like money.
Yeah, the ones that you didn't really play with. A lot of like the original, like the Pog brand Pogs are still to this day worth quite a little bit of money. But even some of like the lesser known ones, like Fox Kids did a run where they were actually like just giving them out free. Some of those, if you still have them, are collector's items. Pogs and slammers. I think the slammers are more valuable things because, I mean, seriously, $30 in some cases for top quality Pog slammers.
Yeah, I messed up. My financial future as a kid was all invested in hockey cards and garbage pail kids cards.
Right.
So, and those didn't turn out the lucrative thing I thought.
Who would have thought Pokemon would have been the thing you were supposed to collect?
Yeah.
This is why time travel can never be a thing, because if it was, we'll go back and tell our former selves the stuff to collect.
Yeah.
It's just, we can't set ourselves up for success like that.
Like, this is like, this kind of bums me, by the way, with because now that I think about it, and I remember like some of the hockey cards I had, they were rare cards. Some of them, like I had like Brett Hull's rookie card, Wayne Gretzky's card the year he went to the Kings. In my head, I'm looking at and at the time the cards were worth $20-$30, and I'm thinking, oh, when I'm 40s, man, these cards are going to be worth something. You know what they're worth now?
Bupkis?
Maybe like I could maybe get $100 for like one of the cards. You know, it's not like it wasn't like I was thinking I'm going to be living like off this stuff. Like as a kid, you're like, oh, I'm going to be worth $1 million, and now it's worth $100.
Somewhere, and I'm not sure if these still exist, but I used to have a whole 3-ring binder full of baseball cards. I wasn't that into baseball. You know what I was into? I was into Nolan Ryan. I wasn't specifically into baseball. I was more into just Nolan Ryan, the baseball player, Texas Rangers. And so for a while there in the 90s, his popularity was such that you could actually get Nolan Ryan, a pack of Nolan Ryan cards. It was like, Nolan Ryan in just different positions or whatever. Yeah.
Here's Nolan Ryan making lunch.
Exactly.
Here's
yeah.
Nolan Ryan.
Here's Nolan Ryan enjoying a sandwich. Here he is showing up at a shoot for Bayer Aspirin. But no, it was, so I had like those, but I also had like Ken Griffey Jr.'s, like one of his early cards. I had a ton of great cards. I think I had a Darryl Strawberry somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a ton of them. I don't know whatever happened. I can see the binder in my head now. It's red. It's one of those old school 3-ring binders. Oh, I missed that. I wish I still had access to those. But I think my mom still has them somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought. Like mine were like years, and then my brother like sold some and but then I got them back, and then I was like, oh, great. And I went and looked them up. I was like, yeah, they're not worth that much money. I was thinking, oh, there's going to be thousands of dollars here. No. Maybe 200.
Right. It's always the stuff you don't think about. Like the cardboard card to send back to Kenner to get the Star Wars toys is the most valuable Star Wars collectible there is.
Yeah, the IOUs.
Who would have thunk?
Back from 78 or
Kids
whenever that was.
Hold on to your one-of-a-kind IOUs. I bet there's a lot of those from the COVID time. A lot of like companies be like, hey, due to supply chain issues, we can't get you the thing, but here's a card to turn in so that later you can get the thing. I bet there's a lot of those that are going to be real valuable in like 30 years.
Yeah. My parents are smart. They should have bought like 2 of everything. Just buy 2 X-Wing fighters. Give me the one to play with, destroy, keep one in the box.
If I'm lucky, I'm going to be able to hold. I have one still sealed, new in box set of 2 COVID tests.
Ooh.
That's right. Mint, if you will.
Throw them up on eBay, man.
Vintage. I'm going to hold on to them for 4 or 5 years and see if I can sell it off as vintage. Relive your COVID days.
Right.
Remember the experience of a swab far too far up your nasal cavity.
I could see like the board, like when the state quarters came out and they came out with a board, you could get COVID tests from across the region.
That's right.
And then they got like a little board where here's a COVID test from New England, here's a COVID test from the Southwest. Yeah, I think
it's like a bunch of one lines and two lines clearly in the Midwest.
Sell it on eBay.
There you
go. We got a busy hour for you. We're going to talk Roswell Youth Soccer first. Patrick Smith and Carolyn Madison are going to join us here and talk Roswell Youth Soccer, sign up, get the kids involved, and get an update from them. And then also we got the folks from Roswell Dragway, Alien City Dragway, join us, give us an update about their big event this weekend as well, too. So we'll get all that in.
Jam-packed.
This hour. Before we do any of that, though, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather. Rain's a-coming, allegedly. We'll see.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure is parked over our area, so we get lots of sun today. It will be hot. Our afternoon highs hovering right around the 100-degree mark, getting a little gusty in the afternoon, too. Then tonight, clear and we'll cool off to the low 60s, and then a little bit of a change for Wednesday with a cold front backing into our area. We will have some sunshine, but we could get a few afternoon showers, and we'll be in the upper 80s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 74 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 11% with winds out of the north at 6 miles per hour. Today, going to be warm like you've been experiencing. Sunny, hot, highs right around 100 today. North winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight with an overnight low of 64 degrees. South winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then beginning tomorrow through Friday, rain chances and cooler temps. A 20% chance of rain tomorrow, mainly for the afternoon. Mostly sunny, 87 for a high with north winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance of rain bumps up to 40% tomorrow night. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of 60. Northeast winds 15 to 20. They'll drop down 10 to 15 after midnight. 30% chance of rain for Thursday, mainly for the afternoon. Cloudy, high of only 76 expected. Northeast winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. 30% chance of rain Thursday night, mainly before midnight. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of 61. Friday, we're looking at a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Partly cloudy, high of 86. 30% chance of rain Friday night. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of 60. And then warming back up for the weekend. 96 and sunny Saturday. Sunday, sunny, hot, highs back near 100. And then this time next week, next Monday, it'll be back about 101. But Wednesday through Friday, cooler temps, rain chances. Knock on wood, wash your cars, do everything. Make sure we get some moisture out of that. All right, it is 8:16. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll talk some Roswell Youth Soccer on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
This July, Roswell becomes Ground Zero.
I'm Clyde Lewis, and you're listening to Ground Zero.
The International UFO Museum and Research Center, in conjunction with Roswell's Talk FM, are bringing nationally syndicated radio show host Clyde Lewis to Roswell for the 2022 UFO Festival. Clyde will be broadcasting his show Ground Zero live from the International UFO Museum on Friday, July 1st from 8 to 11 p.m. Join Clyde as we celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident. The truth is out there.
When you think of home health care here in Roswell, what's the first thing that pops into your head? That's right, Frontier Medical. We've been doing it better than anyone else for over 20 years. From in-home nursing to physical therapy and so much more. Doctors and hospitals from Albuquerque to Lubbock and everywhere in between have been trusting their patients to us here at Frontier Medical. So when it's time to make a choice, remember Frontier Medical. 575-627-1112. Frontier Medical.
Name to remember. Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency. Auto and home, life and health, personal and commercial. Bonds too, since 1925. We have the coverage for you. Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency.
J Block for governor. J Block, conservative, veteran, leader. J Block is the only choice to stand up and defeat Michelle Lujan Grisham. Mr. Block is a veteran of combat, serving in Afghanistan, a nuclear commander, and winner of the New Mexico State Republican Convention. As an America First conservative, Mr. Block has turned blue seats red and has never lost a race. Mr. Block will end the madness in Santa Fe once and for all. He's not a weatherman. He's not a rhino. J Block is a conservative, veteran, and a leader. Vote June 7th in the Republican primary.
Paid for by Friends for J Block.
Do you have what it takes to be a champion? Country Club Road Church of Christ presents Champion VBS, June 6th through the 10th, from 9 to 11:30 a.m. for ages 3 years old through 6th grade. Explore the excitement of leading others to a relationship with Jesus from some of the best loved passages of Scripture, and with a team of some of the world's fastest animals, you'll learn how to be a champion with practice, perseverance, and a little sweat. Skits, crafts, music, Bible stories, snacks, lunch, and more, including a free t-shirt. Find out more and register at ccrcoc.com. Champion VBS, June 6th through the 10th at Country Club Road Church of Christ. Open to ages 3 years old through 6th grade at the corner of Washington and Country Club Road in Roswell. Learn more and register now at ccrcoc.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell introduced the original cookies and cream ice cream. So every time you dig into that familiar creamy vanilla ice cream that's loaded with chunks of chocolate cream cookies, you can say thanks. You're more than welcome.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at Smokey's Country Market in Capitan and all Farmers Country Market.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Bamboo plants can grow up to 36 inches in a day. So if you're told you're growing like a weed, you can say, "No, I'm growing like a bamboo." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 20 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, talking some Roswell youth soccer here, Patrick Smith, and also I just read, with Carolyn there. I wrote it down. See how I wrote things? And I started going down. But Carolyn Madison also joining us as well here. I scribbled things. Good morning, guys. How you all doing?
Yeah, thank you.
Anytime. Appreciate you guys coming in, and especially on Monday. I know that's a little, well, Tuesday, but you know what I mean. You come in like the day after a weekend, and you're kind of out of sorts a little bit. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are, in a normal routine.
Right.
Here, so.
Yep, back to work today. So.
Well, and so for folks wondering, because I wondered the same questions, like, didn't you guys just finish soccer? And yes and no.
Right.
Is the answer.
Yeah,
there,
we
right?
finished a great spring season.
Good deal.
We had a lot of great volunteers on our coaching staffs, on our board, our referees, and our parents were wonderful this year. We finished with over 850 kids playing soccer.
That's that's big. That's like record numbers for you
guys,
right?
It's a huge spring for us. Yeah,
That's
for a long
excellent.
time. After we came out of the COVID kick in the teeth, right? We wanted to get back active, and spring was just a fantastic season for us.
Good deal. And the great thing about soccer, because I played as a kid and everything. It's one of those sports that's really great to get kids like it's kind of like chess, easy to learn and hard to master. You know what I mean? Like or learning the rules, so to get to find something for your children to be active in and to have fun and run around that isn't at the same time like uber complex, but at the same time creates all the they got to be in a team. That means they got to work with the other kids. They got to coordinate plays. And obviously, as they get older, they get more advanced in the soccer. The real little ones, it kind of turns into that big herd of kids just kind of moving up and down the field.
Yeah.
But as they get a little older, and they learn about positions and what you're supposed to do at those positions, and then it starts to look a little bit more like something you see on TV on Saturday mornings.
Right. I appreciate you pointing that out, because we have had to lean super heavy on parents to be coaches.
Sure.
And just volunteer coaches. And people will say, I don't really know what I'm doing. And we have tried to provide lots of opportunities for them to learn.
Sure.
Patrick's coordinated a lot of coach trainings that we bring people in who don't know anything about soccer. And at the end, they're loving it. or if they're hating it, they haven't told me yet, which I really appreciate. But you can see the growth in the children as well, and as well as the parents.
Sure.
The growth in the parents and their understanding of soccer.
Sure.
But in Roswell, we struggle with stepping up to that next level of soccer. And if we have a full family involvement, we will be better.
Yeah.
And the kids will be better, the players will be better, and then we'll produce better soccer playing teams as they grow older.
Absolutely. I'm kind of curious, do you guys get the impact from the New Mexico United? Of course, they were just here doing a game, but like you said, we're getting record number of kids coming, and yeah, COVID I think has a lot to do with that, but I gotta wonder too, having the New Mexico United here, getting that kind of coverage, that kind of spotlight on the sport, I imagine it's got to help bring in more kids to want to participate in soccer.
I think so. We see a lot of United jerseys out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's accessible now where people can drive 3 hours, see a game, and either stay the night there or come home.
Yeah.
It's still accessible and affordable. And New Mexico United does a brilliant job of outreach. They came over around Christmas time, early December. They showed up. They brought some former players, and they did a little camp for us.
Oh,
it was
cool.
just a one day, one
Sure.
afternoon, but a lot of skills, and the kids get excited when they have that personal interaction with somebody wearing a United jersey. They show up in the United van.
Sure.
T-Mobile showed up and gave us away like all of these little teddy bears with soccer balls. I mean, it was adorable.
Cool.
And you get the real buy-in from the kids. So yeah, they're watching. And to be able to watch soccer players that you say, oh, hey, I know some of these people.
Yeah, see him on TV and I met that guy,
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
So I do think that it does impact our kids. And who knows, maybe some of our kids will actually go up and play for United.
And then obviously the United being because they were just in town this past weekend playing an actual game. They're doing some of their games on the road this season.
Right.
And so hopefully folks got a chance to get to see that. But for them to do that outreach outside of the greater Albuquerque area is nice to see, and because obviously soccer, we're in culturally, it's just a big, you know what I mean? It's where other parts of the country, it may not be as much of the culture as it is here, and so for me to see that being embraced and you're starting to see, I mean, football's always king in just the world in the United States. It just, you look at from the professionals on down. Matter of fact, I saw a stat on like Facebook or something like they're saying that one of the NBA games had like, I don't know, it was like 8 million people watch it, and they were like, it's the highest rated game in NBA in a long time. And then they showed the lowest rated NFL game last season. It was double that number.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So football's king. But what I mean is now you're starting to see where, the youth are like, you're looking and like you said, there's 850 kids playing soccer now. Those are football numbers we're talking, American football, not football. But you know what I mean? And so I think we're starting to see a shift of where, and obviously, I mean, just soccer, the global soccer is more mainstream in the United States. I mean, to watch the European League and all that was unheard of when I was a kid. Now, pretty much every Saturday morning you turn on
Wake
the TV,
up early enough, you'll find some games. And
so I think we're just culturally as a country shifting, but in a place like here where I think they're a bit farther ahead on soccer as far as participation, youth, people, I mean, obviously we talk Hispanic culture, and soccer is very much in those sports in those countries. So they got, you've got that base here already. You know what I mean? And some other players don't have that.
Something that I'd like to point out is the United team that was here this weekend was the U23, so under 23.
Oh, so that's like
it's like a feeder team.
Gotcha, like a farm league kind of thing.
Yeah, farm league. There we go. So that's also creating more accessibility to our young people because you don't have to make the professional team. You can make the feeder team and just keep building and still play soccer. So that was really special for the U23 team to be here. I'm so thankful that they reached out to the city of Roswell, because the city of Roswell was the one that helped bring them here.
Okay, got the logistics to make that happen.
Totally. So I'm really grateful for all of that and for that opportunity for kids to be able to show up. And now every kid who showed up, every parent who shows up has a United flag.
Sure.
So
yeah, they're Creighton fans.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. But at the end of the day, we're also creating a love for the sport. And let's going back to the football analogy, we all grew up as, boys probably, most we got our poster Walter Payton or Jerry Rice or whatever up there, Now these kids are going to have United players or, some of the European, the Beckham, outside of David Beckham, most people can't name another soccer player. You know what I mean?
Did you have any soccer or football?
No, well, I didn't have posters up in my room. I just didn't decorate my room. But I also...
You just had plain white walls.
No.
You had your soccer medals, probably.
No, I loved watching basketball when I was younger. And so I didn't really get into watching soccer till I was in high school, college.
Oh, so he got it later in life. Nice.
So, but yeah, I love watching the sport. Love it. So
yeah. But so I think all of that contributes to, like when I was a kid, we did it because that was something, like, you either play t-ball or soccer, you know what I mean? And,
right.
and as you got older, baseball. But that's kind of, now it's different. It's like, no, there's people are looking at soccer and they're saying, and you got kids dreaming, they're out on the pitch, or in the backyard whacking a ball around, and they're now dreaming of playing in some stadium in front of 100,000 people. Right. You know what I mean? Like that's a reality to them now. Whereas, when I was a kid, it was like, good luck being a famous soccer player. But now that's you know what I mean? It's all that's good for the sport, I think. And
it is, and we have parents who love their children so much that they give them every opportunity. We had parents who register their kids in both soccer and baseball this season, and softball. And so we have multiple sport children, and it's all possible because of their parents. So I'm super grateful for the parents. I'm super grateful for the employers who let those people off to get to the field early so that they can set up soccer practice or whatever, make sure that their kids get there. This is a whole community thing. It's not just the kid, the parent, it's then the employer and the other family members. I mean, I had so many grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends show up toting the kid because I'm like, please bring them to practice.
Right.
And so it's a real community thing. And this weekend, the 3v3 tournament that we're having, already we have 78 teams registered.
Yeah.
And they're trying to ratchet down the registration. It technically ended Sunday, but if you call super nicely, I guess, I've never had to do this, and ask the tournament director, Matt Shepard, if you can register.
And
he's still registering people.
Okay.
So when it cut off, I think we were at 70 teams. Now we're at 78.
Okay.
And it's just a great way for people to stay involved.
Now I'm thinking, by rule, do you have to end with an even number or an odd number?
In an even number in each bracket is what they're trying to do.
Okay.
So already my little kids have gotten rolled up into the next age group.
Uh-oh.
I know. It just means like super challenging, and they're just going to come out.
Yeah. So I'm curious. So how does 3-on-3 soccer work? I'm a little naive on this stuff. So.
It's a short side goal or short side field, so it's not a full field. Even when you think about our spring divisions, it's not that full size.
So think like half court basketball.
Yeah, but each field is just a little bit bigger in their division.
Okay.
And it's not a bigger goal; it's a smaller pug-sized goal.
Okay.
And there's no offsides.
Okay.
Some divisions, some play with throw-ins, some play with just kick-ins.
Okay.
Right, and so it's you don't have to wait for a dead ball to sub as long as you can kind of get that referees to say, yes, come out and come in. You have to tag yourself.
So it's a little more faster pace.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you have to have 3 on the field, and there's also no goalie.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah. So they're playing with all of them. There's no goalie.
So when someone moves into the goal position, do they get the rights of a goalie, or do they get...
No way.
They play with their feet.
Okay, they got to play with their feet.
But I'm glad you brought that up, because there is the goal box is 10 feet wide, 8 feet deep, and if you touch the ball inside the box, it becomes it's either a turnover, or a penalty kick.
Okay.
And a penalty kick, as we all know, is terrifying.
Yeah.
Especially with no goalie.
Sure.
All you have to do is kick the ball straight and right into the goal.
Yeah.
So if you're a defender and you touch the ball inside that box, it's penalty kick for the other team.
Gotcha.
So you put the most calm person up there to take a shot,
Sure.
so they don't shank it off to the side.
Yeah, as long as you don't blow the chance there.
And that little area encourages the players to actually play up against the man instead of playing always on defense.
Gotcha.
Which we kind of refer to as baby guarding the goal. No one is just right in front of the goal waiting for it to happen.
So it really forces the players to use soccer skills.
Right.
And practice them and implement them to, where you got to work on your ball skills, your shooting skill. Like you got to be more precision with all of that in 3-on-3.
And playing with the little team.
Gotcha.
Because if one player does a little give and go, you have to either follow or communicate that I'll follow, you'll stay.
Okay.
If you don't, well, that's a wide open goal. So they really have to think about their positioning, their spacing, and where the rest of their team is.
Gotcha.
It's
Together.
a full team effort in 3-on-3. Like there's no sandbaggers in 3-on-3. Everybody's in. It's so fast paced. There's only 2 10-minute halves.
Okay.
So like we
so
mean
it's a lot quicker. And is it like the running clock like a normal game would be? Or
Oh, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Very good. Interesting. That sounds like it'd be kind of exciting to watch. So I would like to encourage folks, even if you don't have family members or playing or friends, come and just watch some 3-on-3 soccer and see what it's all about. And like you said, if you're just a fan of soccer or maybe want to get your kids as fan, come bring them out and let them watch and say, hey, maybe in the fall or next season here, we'll get you, in some Roswell Youth Soccer.
I just want to give a couple plugs here really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I feel like that's why we're here. The city of Roswell has an indoor league right now as well.
Okay.
And that's amazing. Indoor during the summer? Come on.
Yeah,
I wish I had that when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
But no, not happening.
Is indoor soccer like it was when I was younger, where they use a different soccer ball and it's like more like a tennis ball almost, like the material? Like when I was a kid, I remember indoor soccer had to me, it looked like a giant tennis ball.
Right.
Yeah.
We're doing City of Roswell is doing a different type of indoor soccer. It's called futsal. So it's a smaller, denser ball.
Okay.
So there's not as many like aerial shots.
Gotcha.
But you still can control the ball that way. But there's also no bouncing off of the walls.
Gotcha.
It is a defined line.
So it's not like an arena league style or something.
So it's not that type of indoor. It's futsal, but it's still very quick.
Okay.
And it depends on very fast-paced foot skill.
Okay. See, I liked in arena because I'm a hockey guy. That's what I played. And so indoor soccer, like arena, that was closer to hockey a little bit. Where they, obviously not as rough, but as far as speed of the game goes and the bouncing off the boards and everything else, it's pretty crazy. So it's not that style, but ramped up like that as compared to a traditional soccer match. So.
But it's indoor. Super important because it's over the summer. And
it's not 157 in there.
Totally. And
you can actually eat an orange slice and it's beneficial.
And the city hasn't had a soccer league in quite a while. I think in at least 3 years.
Good.
And usually what they do is over the summer. And we're 2 entirely separate leagues. But anytime we can have the opportunity for kids to play more soccer, we want to push that.
It's all promoting each other. And
totally.
Promoting the sport and promoting
the community and the kids and the parents and the employers.
Yeah.
It just goes up the line. So
and not to mention all the ancillary stuff that comes with participating in team sports. This is, getting back to COVID here, kids lost a lot. We always talk about learning education as far as the math, science and all that stuff.
Right.
But the social side too, the side that, how to work in groups, how to, interact with people that don't, have the same experiences that you do. So, and kids need to learn that, these kids are different than me, and learning about how all that soccer's that's stuff like that's how these kids learn about that. It broadens their own world by meeting kids that they didn't meet before, things like that, or that's making friends and doing. To me, that part is as important as the physical getting out and playing the game part sometimes, especially nowadays.
It also helps them to understand and realize there's another authority other than your parents who respects and deserves your attention, but also gives you the attention and desire and love out on the field.
Yeah.
And so those are parent coaches. Those are volunteers. Those are the young kids in junior high and high school working to help with the refereeing, right? Those are the referees who are getting paid for, but this is their first job. So you have to learn how to respect some type of other authority.
Absolutely.
And understand the rules of you don't yell at the ref.
Right.
Right. And the parents, you don't yell at the ref.
Yeah.
Right? So those types of things help with more soccer, more times throughout the year, helps ingrain them in that it's not just my parents telling me what to do or
Sure.
showing me some ways to learn. It's other authorities, other parents, other people. So.
Sure, learning to respect, others, those, and people that
Right.
people in your life, and why you respect them and things, and obviously the coaches and things, they're teaching, sure, the X's and O's of soccer, but at the end of the day, they're also teaching how to communicate, how to problem solve, how
Right.
to do all those things that are ancillary. And it's like, I left my shin guards at home. Well, we got a problem. How are we going to figure that one out?
Right.
It's like you were watching my team this season. That feels very familiar. But I really appreciate being able to have this conversation because there's so many things about being able to play soccer and to be part of something greater than yourself. And then also not just having the parent authority out there.
Yeah.
But showing like kids, other adults care about you.
Sure.
Other adults are here for you, and we want to support you, and we want to support your families
Sure.
in ways that we can.
And you might even find parents, because as parents, you want the best, doing everything for your kids, but especially as kids go through different phases in life. Obviously, when they get into teenagers, when they're young, they may have been waiting with bated breath on every word you say, but as you get older, even if it makes the most sense, the fact that it's coming from you doesn't register.
Right.
So sometimes having that coach or having that other person that they start by interacting with on a weekly basis here, start to gain respect, start to gain, that trust and everything else. And next thing you know, you may have been saying the exact same thing to the kid, but the one time the coach says it, it makes sense, and then it registers. And of course, as a parent, you're like, duh, I've been saying that for months. But it's kids. That's how kids, they sometimes hearing it from a different source confirms it. They're just like, oh, mom and dad just saying it to say it. But when they hear from another source, then they're like, okay, maybe there's some weight to it, and now it makes sense. And but that's also part of soccer and everything that you guys are doing, I think. So
Yeah.
good deal.
And people can stay involved, not just as players or as coaches, but as Patrick mentioned, as referees.
Mm-hmm.
We have really awesome, we have had some really amazing training this past year for referees. And it's so to prevent getting yelled at, obviously.
Sure.
Not everything is going to work there.
Right.
But having kids come out, learn how to referee, and stay involved with the sport, it's incredible.
And that's the thing parents, all of us need to remember is it's Roswell Youth Soccer. These are kids. Everybody here is volunteers. They're doing this because they love the game. They love our community. They love, including the people that are refereeing and coaching and the officials. These are all people that are doing it because they care about kids and they want to get involved. And some have the passion for soccer, some have a passion for mentorship, some it's a little bit of each and all that. But they're bringing those passions, and we got to remember that it's at the end of the day, it's all learning. It's okay. So they blew the big goal. Guess what? You know what's going to happen tomorrow? Nothing's life's going to go on. Things are going to happen. Everything will be fine. But that's what happens after that. Are you going to yell and create a scene and now ruin that sport probably for that kid the rest of their lives and say, I hate soccer now? Right. Or we're going to pick your head up, learn from this. Yeah, that guy blew that call, but you know what? That happens sometimes. We got to deal with those things in life. And then tomorrow you get back and practice and have some fun, and that's what we got to remember is we're just playing soccer and having fun here. And we all got to remember that. And I think that, once we get that going, and like you said, the training and all that helps with all that. And that's we just got to have that mindset. Look, we're here to provide kids an opportunity to grow and to have fun. And if we all remember that's the end game, I think we'll have a little less temper issues and things like that.
Hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as the 3-on-3 tournament, like you said, it's pretty much full. However, if you're just hearing about it and you might want to sneak in, maybe we can get another couple teams in if you act like today.
That's right. Yeah, they're making the schedules tomorrow, so there's no leeway after tomorrow.
So it's hard deadline today.
It is, absolutely. And we'll play at Cielo Grande. We'll have some really great food trucks out there. and we'll hopefully have some great music as well.
Okay.
But it'll probably start, depending on how many teams.
Okay.
We have the capacity. We have 12 field capacity.
Okay.
So we can have 12 games going at one time.
Good deal.
Right now, we might have a little bit of struggle with having 12 full referees on every single field.
Okay.
So we're still looking for referees.
So any soccer referees out there that are, I guess at this point, be actual not learning to be a referee, but you got to be
well established,
skilled, or experienced refereeing, and you want to come help out. They'd love to have you for this weekend. So.
Yeah, if you're a terrible referee, please do not show up.
Well, even if you have no experience, come out and say, "Hey, watch and see what it's about," and we'll get you signed up.
Right.
But for this weekend, we need actual skilled referees.
Totally. People already have to have been trained.
Yeah.
Because if you want to see some real hotheads, come out on a 3v3 with a brand new referee.
Yeah.
And it's maybe not to any of their fault.
Sure.
But just because they're new and they were trying to help out. Not the time. Thank you so much, but not the time.
It happens. It's emotion. When you get ramped up and involved and you get emotional, invested in something, you get passionate about it, and that comes with passion comes emotion.
and everybody's right on the field. Everybody sits right on the field. So it's like very exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
So come out and watch the games. Come out and watch, even if you're, maybe you love to get out there and support the teams by getting out there and sit on the sidelines and watch some of these kids play. Now, how's it broken down in the age groups? I'm guessing, it's all done age or size or something like that.
Just age.
Age, okay.
Yeah, and sometimes they have to combine multiple age groups.
Okay.
But like right now we're trying to shift so that we're not talking about 14-year-olds, but rather talking about the year they were born.
Okay.
So 2009.
Okay.
As opposed to U14.
Gotcha.
So yeah, 2009 age group I think is the only one that stands alone because
Okay.
there's so many in it.
Okay.
And then there's I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look.
Is it a co-ed and everything, or is it boys and girls, boys versus girls, or is it all come to the party in three on three?
We have a boys age group, a girls age group, and then we
Gotcha.
have a co-ed.
Okay, so you got all of the above.
And the co-ed is usually for the older teams.
Okay.
And we have young kids, but then we also have the former high school players who are still playing.
Cool.
Men's league, women's league.
Okay.
Which are also really great opportunities in Roswell.
Sure.
Yeah, and if people want to get involved, they need to show up this weekend because we've got a lot of resources to provide too.
Absolutely. I would say even maybe you're new to the area, maybe you don't have kids, but you're a soccer aficionado and looking for opportunities. Come on out. Like you said, you can maybe meet up with some of the adult clubs and things that are going out there, but at the same time, maybe you come out there and thinking, you know what, I would love to be an official or something like that.
We would love it.
Maybe I come see this. Maybe I can start the formal training process to get that done so we're ready for when the season comes full swing here.
Yeah, and there's a nationwide shortage of referees.
I believe that, yeah.
Yeah.
Every sport's dealing with that, and, I've God bless the high school sports and hearing some, and it's all of them, baseball, football, basketball, they had to move games and, at high school level.
Wow.
Because of lack of officiating. For some of those football games earlier this year, they had to move them to Thursday, Friday because they didn't have officials to cover everything. So.
It's a commitment to become a referee, but I'm watching somebody that I grew up with go through all of the ranks of about to referee professional matches.
That's cool.
And it's really special.
Yeah. That's a great way to stay in shape.
Yes.
Of all the sports to officiate, I got to imagine the referee for soccer is doing the most running.
I expect so.
Steadily. Like a football guy's running the field, but they stop. You know what I mean? They stop. Where the soccer ref, no, the play's going, they're moving. You know what I mean? Hockey, they're always moving, but there's still stoppages, and it's a lot smaller.
Right.
And you're skating. Skating's a much easier fluid. I know you break your neck, but as far as the mechanics of it's pretty easy.
Right.
So I've got to say, pound for pound, the most in shape officials got to be soccer.
Likely, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd agree.
I expect so.
If anybody has questions about either this now if obviously they don't want to sign up, when sign-ups for the next? Is there a fall league?
There is for us. And
Very
that's
cool.
starting tomorrow, June 1st.
So you can start beginning June 1, start signing up for fall here. So
Absolutely.
Is there going to be sign-ups at the tournament this weekend? Is there going to be
all online.
Okay.
Everything has been shifted to online for about the past 2 years.
COVID makes sense.
Yeah, actually, that's right. I almost forgot about the beginning of COVID because I wanted to put it out of my head so badly.
I understand. Wouldn't it be nice a time where we'd be like, we don't remember what COVID life was like, you know?
So everybody can start registering tomorrow, and our registration fee is broken out by the amount they owe the state, $23, and then the amount that they owe us, which is about $42, I think, or $43.
Very cool.
Yeah, and so we're trying to keep it inexpensive for families. They can just go online, roswellsoccer.org.
Okay.
roswellsoccer.org.
Very good.
Everything is out there. Signing up to be a referee, signing up to be a coach, signing up to be a player. All of that is online.
Absolutely. And then you can go and read more about the league and of course, what obligations are, all that stuff. If you want to, and of course, if you want to be, like you said, a official or a coach, or you want to sign up your children to be a player. June 1, tomorrow is the start of signups for fall season.
Right.
Come out this weekend if you're like, I want to learn more about the Roswell Youth Soccer League here. Come out Saturday this weekend out to Cielo Grande. Come watch some of the 3-on-3 tournament games and talk to officials and coaches and some of the leaders of the Roswell Youth Soccer. They'll all be out there. They'll give you all that information, talk to you about it, and come and have some fun while you're out there and
hydrate.
And then when you're done, walk on over to the aquatic center and go swimming or something.
We'll probably be decked out in our big hats.
Oh yes,
because
protect yourselves from the sun.
It's hot out there.
Yeah,
it's
and it's
really
supposed to
hot.
be warm this weekend.
Yeah,
like we're getting the rain and everything the middle of the week, but by like Saturday we're supposed to be back up near 100 again.
Yeah.
So.
Darn.
Yeah, sorry.
Darn.
I was trying to get it. Although if we get all the rain out of the way by through Friday, then it should be clear sailing for soccer on Saturday. So
there's another opportunity for families to volunteer if they want to stay associated with our soccer league, and that's at the board level.
Okay.
So we represent on the board. Carolyn is the president, and I'm the vice president. But we're looking for parents who are not necessarily at the coaching level.
Okay.
Right. So they're not having to double dip their time.
Sure.
To come and get involved and participate.
Well, it gives you a good perspective. It gives you a parental perspective on that board, which you want, because now you've got, not saying that you guys are family people too and got kids and lives and all that stuff, but at the same time, it's a different perspective.
Right.
They don't know all necessarily the policies, the things that you guys are beholden to at first. They can just come in with a fresh perspective. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you did this from a parent?
Love it.
Without the perspective that you guys have, well, we got to deal with this, and this, and sometimes you're automatically going there. It's like, well, that eliminates, right? But someone comes in with a fresh idea. It's like, well, maybe, and then it gets to percolate. Well, if we move this here, we can do this,
right?
But that always happens when you get kind of a fresh perspective coming in. So, so moms and dads out there that want to get involved, and you're thinking, well, I don't want to run around on the field with them because
Right.
But I want to get involved.
And that's not part of the expectation. You do not have to be a coach to come and volunteer on the board. But it does, like you just said, give us some more eyes on what we're doing.
Sure.
Because a lot of the board members we have now are coaches of one, maybe two teams.
Sure.
So they're super busy with practices during the week.
Yeah, they've already got X amount of nights committed to soccer.
And
they don't want to add another couple nights to that. So,
right.
Yeah.
So we're looking to bring some fresh faces in. And so we have a few positions where we also have members at large roles.
Okay.
Where they don't have to be a committee chair position. They could be just helping out, giving some guidance elsewhere.
Sure.
So
well, and those people are probably your logistics folks too, like on tournament day.
Right.
It takes there's a lot of moving parts there, making sure the fields are in good shape, making sure, the lines, everything that's supposed to be in place, making sure, registration set up, all those things, making sure there's someone manning the registration booth there. That's if you're kind of in part of that group, or maybe you're not a voting board member, but just a volunteer that is always there to support the league, whether it's making sure there's the fields taken care of, or making
we
sure.
love those people.
Yeah.
We're so appreciative of those people.
Oh yeah.
We have some really great families involved, and some people who have taken on roles outside of the board, and we're really appreciative of that because it's important. It takes all of us.
Well, that's what makes the magic happen, makes everything go. It's kind of I don't care what event you're planning, whether it's a sports thing or something else. There's a lot of moving parts when it comes to that, and the idea is when you come to just participate, you just show up because that's, there's this, there's that, that's there. But that stuff doesn't happen automatically. Right. It takes a lot of people to make sure that done. So if you'd like to be a part of that, and you're thinking, that's just as valuable as being a board member or a coach or whatever. Every cog in the big picture makes things happen. So,
and it's really helpful to have different perspectives.
Sure.
Because we can't catch everything.
Well, and that's just it. You can't see the forest from the trees sometimes. And so when you're so wrapped up in it, you get, it's this way and this way, but then something new comes in with a fresh face. Oh, yeah, I never thought of it that way. And so that's what you're looking for when you come out for some of that.
Yes, sir.
So what time's everything getting underway this weekend out at Cielo Grande?
It'll probably start about 3 p.m.
Okay.
And it'll go through the night. It's supposed to be an under the lights tournament.
Well, in theory, it'll be a little cooler then.
It will absolutely. Once, as we all know, once the sun goes down, it's a brilliant space to play.
It's a great part about living in the desert. We get hot days, but we get cool nights.
Right. So. It's very nice. So it'll start about 3 or 4 p.m. and then go through the wee hours of the morning.
Good.
And then Patrick and I will be out there picking up trash at the end of it.
And I think kids love that too. I bet that's kind of the cool thing. They're up, you know what I mean? Some of the younger kids we're playing soccer at 10 o'clock at night out on
under the lights, though. It's really special and magical to be able to give that kid an opportunity to play under the lights.
Well, remember that at the beginning we were talking about the kid dreaming about playing in Wembley Stadium or wherever, and it's never during the day.
Right.
It's always at night with the spotlight on and everything else. So it adds to that, to the dream, to the fantasy, to the fun part of being a kid and being out there doing it, dreaming the big penalty shot, and you're the one who's going to save the day and win it for the team, the whole nine. Yeah.
Yep. It's
every
exciting.
Scenario that they played in their head is sitting there with lights on them.
Well, I hope you come out this weekend.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Come out and watch some soccer.
You know a lot about it. It sounds like all of the things that take to go into it.
I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. That's my life. I know a little bit about a lot of things.
It's very cool.
Come out, be a part, and like you said, if you're interested in serving as a coach, as a board member, as whatever, any aspect with Roswell Youth Soccer, please come on out this weekend. Come meet some of the folks and things. And then, like I said, if you're interested in playing soccer in the fall, tomorrow, June 1, sign-ups start signing up. Go to the website.
RoswellSoccer.org.
RoswellSoccer.org and sign up.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Thanks, Mike.
Anytime. And we'll see you next time here. Yep. Maybe in the fall, we could bring some of the players in and things or something. I know that's a little tricky.
That would be awesome.
But it would be cool. Maybe we get some of the kids in and
we know people. We know people with kids.
Oh yeah.
Bring them in uniform and talk about what they love about soccer and all that.
Yeah,
that would be so cool.
So good deal. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Don't stay hydrated this weekend.
That's right.
Lots of water. All right, it is 8:55. Yeah, I probably should shut up. Because I got to play the commercials. If I don't do that, then I'm in trouble. They almost let me say what I want until I stop playing commercials. Then they get mad at me. So, all right, quick commercial break before news. Don't go away.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. U.S. and Canadian regulators are investigating a hepatitis outbreak that may be linked to fresh organic strawberries. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration and the Public Health Agency of Canada said illnesses in Minnesota, California, and Canada occurred after people consumed fresh Campo and HEB brand strawberries. The agency said the strawberries were purchased between March 5th and April 25th. They were sold at various U.S. retailers, including Aldi, Kroger, Safeway, Walmart, and Trader Joe's. In Canada, the affected strawberries were sold between March 5th and 9th at co-op stores in Alberta and Saskatchewan. European Union leaders reached a compromise Monday to impose a partial oil embargo on Russia at a summit focused on helping Ukraine with a long-delayed package of sanctions that was blocked by Hungary. The watered-down embargo covers only Russian oil brought in by sea. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
J. Block for governor. J. Block, conservative, veteran, leader. J. Block is the only choice to stand up and defeat Michelle Lujan Grisham. Mr. Block is a veteran of combat, serving in Afghanistan, a nuclear commander, and winner of the New Mexico State Republican Convention. As an America First conservative, Mr. Block has turned blue seats red and has never lost a race. Mr. Block will end the madness in Santa Fe once and for all. He's not a weatherman. He's not a rhino. J. Block is a conservative, veteran, and a leader. Vote June 7th in the Republican primary.
Paid for by Friends for J Block.
You know what happens in the spring. It's cleanup time. And AC&B, HF Sinclair, Navajo Refining, and the Boy Scouts are at it again to help clean up our community. The Scouts will come to your house and haul off items that you need to dispose of and have no way of hauling. The dates for pickup are May 28th, June 4, and June 11. Just call 575-513-0143 and let me know when, where, and what. Take advantage of this free service and let's make Artesia clean and beautiful.
I have a snake for your drain. You might want to step back.
Oh no, baby.
All AC units moke a little. Is normal.
Oh no, baby.
Haha, now your sprinkler system's strong like bull.
Come on now. Don't let any fool work on your plumbing and air conditioning.
Fergalicious.
From clogged drains to sprinkler systems, Fergie's Plumbing and Heating is on the job. And who you gonna call for air filters and spring servicing on your AC unit?
Fergalicious.
Call Fergie's today, 622-2660. Nothing but love.
Fergalicious.
Your ride is broke, needs a fix. Come on down, we'll take care of it quick at Big O. Big O Tires. Whatever the problem will ease your fears, we got experience nearly 60 years at Big O. Big O Tires.
You can always count on your local Big O Tires to give you quality products and trustworthy service, all for a low price. From May 16th through June 19th, get up to $140 in rebate savings on BF Goodrich tires with installation purchase, or get up to $140 in rebate savings on Michelin tires from May 23rd through June 19th. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Not valid with other offers. Disposal fees extra and up to 10% shop fee based on non-discounted regular retail price not to exceed $35 were permitted. Void where prohibited. For further details on use and restrictions thereof, see BigOTires.com. See rebate form for terms and conditions. Additional retailer offer advertised within is independent from the manufacturer's offer.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. More than 50% of Americans fall asleep on their sides. That's way better than falling asleep on someone else's side. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 9 o'clock. Stay tuned next hour. We're going to talk Literacy Council and Homes for Heroes next hour. That's we got a busy hour for you. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Consumer confidence, key bellwether of the U.S. economy, dropped again this month in the face of persistently high inflation. The Conference Board's Consumer Confidence Index losing ground for the second month in a row. And inflation expected to top the agenda at the White House later today.
President Biden will be meeting with the chair of the Federal Reserve System's Board of Governors for the first time since Jerome Powell was confirmed by the Senate for a second term. The White House says they'll discuss the state of the U.S. and global economy, and especially inflation, which the Commerce Department reports was running at 6.3% in April.
Correspondent Jennifer King. Uvalde, Texas, marking a week since the massacre at Robb Elementary School. Uvalde's Mayor Don McLaughlin among those calling for the building to be demolished given the horrific events a week ago today. European Union diplomats agree to end most Russian oil imports by year's end.
We have covered overall 90% of Russian oil being wind down in this time frame.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. The head of a strategically important city in eastern Ukraine says while Russian forces have cut the city in half, Ukraine is holding out, still defending its positions there. An update from the BBC's Joe Winwood in Ukraine.
Severodonetsk is a city divided by front lines. On the one side, the massed forces of the Russian army. On the other, its Ukrainian defenders. Russia is said to be continuing its tried and tested tactic of withering artillery barrages, trying to break the will of their opponents.
China has been menacing Taiwan with fighter jets again. This as Senator Tammy Duckworth visits the island democracy, stressing ongoing U.S. support for Taiwan. Watching Wall Street, stocks in the red this morning. Right now, the Dow down 183 points. NASDAQ Composite Index is off 44 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
The pressure on Ukraine's eastern hospitals is most evident following an attack when casualties arrive one after the other.
Last week, medics wheeled a patient with severe head injuries into the hospital in the town of Pokrovsk as doctors triaged patients who were wounded when 2 rockets had landed. There were only a handful of wounded people there then, but the hospital is stretched. It's been operating with around half the staff it used to have, working with a backdrop of sandbags stacked up against boarded up windows. Elsewhere across the east, in wheelchairs and on stretchers, in ambulances and on train station platforms, the injured wait for help. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
India's economic growth, hit by pandemic restrictions and price hikes, slowed to 4.1% January through March. Was the slowest pace in the fiscal year ending in March. News and analysis at townhall.com. Israel and the United Arab Emirates sign a free trade agreement.
It's the first trade pact Israel has concluded with an Arab country. The UAE agreed to normalize relations with Israel in a U.S. brokered deal in 2020, the first of the so-called Abraham Accords that Israel eventually concluded with 4 Arab nations. Since then, the two countries have boosted cooperation in a number of economic sectors.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Firefighters still working to stamp out any of the remaining hot spots left by a fire. It raged overnight at a chemical plant just southwest of downtown Omaha. It forced some nearby residents to evacuate and left thousands of utility customers without power. There have been no reports of any injuries, and there is no word yet on the cause of that fire. Once again on Wall Street this hour, the S&P is down 19 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Trace Inviernos.
Mornings with Mike Winters. Where'd my TV go? Right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
It's all over, man. We faded to black.
Did?
Yeah.
I just looked up and said, hey, what happened? So, I don't know.
You want to know something bleak?
Yeah. Who doesn't?
So, Ted Turner designed the CNN, the cable news network, when he first created it, the 24-hour news network, to be a 24-hour source for all things news forever, until the end of time.
Oh, I think I've heard this.
And I've heard it a couple of times, but I actually heard the details this weekend. So what it is whenever the world shuts down, the very final broadcast of CNN, which in theory is going to be at the end of the world. Like somebody just opened up the nuclear football and pressed a button and we're now at nuclear war with
That's
somebody.
assuming we're going to care about them that long.
If it
But
happens.
anyway, yeah.
At that point, CNN is going to broadcast a clip of a orchestra from like 1986 or something. Actually, I think it's like from the 70s. I think it's in front of the mall in Washington, in D.C., playing the song "Nearer My God to Thee," an orchestral version of "Closer My God to Thee."
Okay.
And it plays through verse and chorus, fade to black.
That's it, huh? That's all she wrote, huh?
Test pattern. Yep.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think CNN's going to be around.
No, probably not. I mean, let me tell you what, if they have the staying power that their streaming service does.
Yeah.
Gee, I mean, you heard about that, right?
Oh, yeah.
CNN Plus.
Would it last a week?
If that.
But I'm all for planning and being organized, but who's planning, like, the final anything they're doing?
I'll tell you who. Ted Turner.
I mean, other than that.
His crazy keister is.
It just doesn't.
Ted Turner!
It doesn't sound healthy.
I will always think of, and this is strictly because of Robot Chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I hear Ted Turner, I'll always think, Captain Planet! Basically, it was Ted Turner loses his mind, paints himself in the color of Captain Planet, thinks he's Captain Planet, and goes on a rampage, like destroying things.
When you did the Captain Planet voice, also reminds me of the Skeletor voice, which are very similar.
Very similar.
But in my head, I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if the voiceover guys actually talk like that? That's the regular voice.
That's just how I talk.
Like he walks into place like, I'll take a club soda. And you're
I'll
like,
have a double whopper.
Give me a pastrami.
What are you going to do with it?
Eat it.
I don't know if I trust anything you're going to do with my sandwich.
Are you going to rule the world with that? No, I just want a sandwich.
The USDA, and this is how quick we zigzag. The USDA, by the way, released an official classification of what a sandwich is.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have to remember exactly. It's any cooked meat, has to be at least 30% cooked meats between no more than 2 pieces of bread.
So
if there's more than 2 pieces of bread, it is not classified as a sandwich.
Well,
if it's more than 50% bread, I believe is what it said.
Well, they're screwed at the meats because now they just eliminated peanut butter and jelly. And you're going to tell me that's not a sandwich?
This is not my qualification. Wow. This is the USDA.
The USDA, this is ridiculous. Heads need to roll because they just eliminated peanut butter and jelly using that logic.
I would agree.
And that is the most sandwich of sandwiches.
I would almost argue any spreadable substance and or meat betwixt 2 pieces of meat.
And why has it got to be raw or cooked?
This is just, again, that's
what if I want to have a
meat.
sashimi sandwich?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, how do I mean, yeah, I know that even like bologna is cured, but.
Fire that group or reassign them to the State Department or something. I don't know. Because they got dummies over there. Put these dummies in a different area and get new dummies in there to make.
Get some new dummies. I'm gonna go look it up because I have to know for sure.
All right.
That's gonna drive me nuts.
Because I feel like there's so much wrong with that definition.
Tell you what, give us the rundown.
All right, we got a full hour here. We're gonna get you up to date with the weather here in just a few minutes. First, we're gonna bring in Barbara Gomez with Homes for Heroes and get an update from her, and then after that, we'll talk with the folks from the Literacy Council. We've got Larry Martin and David Heck joining us, and we'll get an update from them on what's happening at the Roswell Literacy Council. Plus, we'll have your news and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. So pretty full slate there.
It is. So real quick, let me pull this up because it was on my random facts today. The United States Department of Agriculture says the official definition of a sandwich is at least 35% cooked meat and no more than 50% bread. So by that definition, a Big Mac is not a sandwich.
Or peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. So take it up with the USDA.
However, that eliminates taco.
It does.
Because taco, a shell's not bread.
That's true.
Or tortilla is not bread.
Mm-hmm.
Much as it's related, bread-like.
Yeah,
but
it's bread adjacent.
However, a hot dog would be a sandwich.
A hot dog would be a sandwich.
Under that logic.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you don't cook your hot dog.
Thusly, bringing the podcast that I listen to full circle.
Yeah. But that means if I'm big peanut butter and jelly, I'm raising holy heck on that one.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
That's the sandwich of sandwiches. Like if someone said, name a sandwich, I would say half of people, first word out of their mouth is going to be peanut butter and jelly.
Now, you know what Big Meat's going to say, right? Or Big USDA is going to say? They're going to say, hey, you like them PB&Js? Slap a little bologna in there. Give it a shot.
Okay, but...
I will say PBPCJ.
Yeah.
Peanut butter potato chip jelly.
Yeah, PB&J sandwich. That's what it is. So anyway. All right, it is 12 minutes after 9 o'clock. Write your congressman. We're going to do the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure is parked over our area, so we get lots of sun today, and it will be hot. Our afternoon highs hovering right around the 100-degree mark, getting a little gusty in the afternoon, too. Then tonight, clear, and we'll cool off to the low 60s, and then a little bit of a change for Wednesday with a cold front backing into our area. We will have some sunshine, but we could get a few afternoon showers, and we'll be in the upper 80s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Currently 79 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 11% with winds out of the north at 12 miles per hour. Hot one today. Sunny, hot, highs right around 100. Northeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear with an overnight low of 64 degrees. South winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then, beginning tomorrow for the next couple days, we got rain chances. Some pretty good ones, too. Tomorrow, though, we're looking at a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms for the afternoon. Mostly sunny, highs near 87. So we're going to be a lot cooler next couple days, too. Winds will be out of the north, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, our chance of rain bumps up to 40%. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of 60 with northeast winds 15 to 20. They'll drop down 10 to 15 after midnight. Thursday, we're looking at a 30% chance at afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Clear sky or cloudy otherwise with a high of only 76 Thursday. Northeast winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday night, 30% chance of showers, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 61. Friday, we're looking at a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy and a high of 86. Friday night, we're looking at a 30% chance of rain, mostly cloudy, highs near 60, and then warming back up for the weekend. Sunny and 96 Saturday, sunny, highs near 100 on Sunday. All right, it is 9:15. We're going to take about a 3-minute commercial break, and then we're going to talk with the folks from the Roswell Literacy Council first. I don't know if they drew straws or something in there, but we'll talk with them on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency. Auto and home, life and health, personal and commercial. Bonds too, since 1925, we have the coverage for you. Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency.
Have you ever thought, Mom and Dad are beginning to need more help, but with a busy job and raising a family, you just don't have the extra time? Personal Care by Design is just what you're looking for. We can be there when you can't, from 1 hour a day to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All of our caregivers are carefully screened, and we are the only personal care service that is overseen by a registered nurse. Competitive rates, great people, and experience is what sets us apart. So when you need extra help at home with your loved one, you can count on Personal Care by Design. Personal, private, and protected. Call us at 575-625-9471 for your personal care needs and receive a free nursing evaluation. That number again is 575-625-9471.
There's a whole universe out there. Come explore at the International UFO Museum and Research Center, featuring engaging exhibits and in-depth first-hand accounts of the incident that put Roswell on the map. The research library features the most comprehensive collection of UFO research materials in the world, and you can get exclusive one-of-a-kind gifts and merch from the gift shop or online at roswellufomuseum.com. Don't forget about the UFO Festival, July 1st through 3rd, celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident. The International UFO Museum and Research Center. It's otherworldly.
Pecos Valley Equipment, your local John Deere dealer in southeast New Mexico, wants to congratulate and salute the class of 2022. You overcame adversity and proved that nothing can slow you down. As you step into the next chapter, remember that character counts in school and in life. Congratulations to the class of 2022 from Pecos Valley Equipment, your local John Deere dealer.
J Block for governor. J Block, conservative, veteran, leader. J Block is the only choice to stand up and defeat Michelle Lujan Grisham. Mr. Block is a veteran of combat, serving in Afghanistan, a nuclear commander, and winner of the New Mexico State Republican Convention. As an America First conservative, Mr. Block has turned blue seats red and has never lost a race. Mr. Block will end the madness in Santa Fe once and for all. He's not a weatherman. He's not a rhino. J Block is a conservative, veteran, and a leader. Vote June 7th in the Republican primary.
Paid for by Friends for J Block.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The ball on top of a flagpole is called a truck. Mess with your friends today by pointing at a flagpole and say, hey, check out the truck on top of that flagpole. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 18 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Literacy Council, Larry Martin and David Heck back with us. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing? How's life treating you right now?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Had a good weekend and got to spend some time with family and doing,
even have a girlfriend.
Check that out. Very good. Well, for folks that aren't familiar, of course, we've talked to the folks from Literacy Council a bunch on here on the show, but the title does kind of explain a lot. Roswell Literacy Council. That's exactly what the Literacy Council there. It's to help people become literate, whether it's whether they have zero literacy skills, whether they maybe have some, whether they're looking for a high school equivalency or diploma or English as second language, that kind of stuff. You help folks with all of that stuff, and all of it's free of charge too. By the way, that's
correct.
If someone is looking to better themselves, becoming literate, you walk through the doors of the Literacy Council. Everything they're going to do for you doesn't cost you one dime. It's as long as you're willing to make the effort to learn the stuff, they're going to be there to make sure to help you do that. So that's kind of in a nutshell what you guys pretty much. I know there's through other things you do stuff, but that's pretty much what the Literacy Council does.
That's what we do.
Good deal. So what's I know you guys got hampered with COVID, but have kind of opened back up and doing things. What's going on now? Are you guys back to pre-COVID levels, or is it still COVID issues? You're dealing with some of those kind of things.
Well, most of the people that needed our help or wanted our help have dissipated. They're gone. So we're here today basically to say, hey, we're available now.
The doors are open. Come on in. Let us help you.
We have someone on the phone. We are a nonprofit. We don't have a lot of money, and we don't spend a lot. So our times are limited, but we will have someone on the phone Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 1 to 5, those 3 days.
Okay.
If you have a situation where you'd like to get tutored or you want to volunteer your tutoring, which we can use volunteers.
I said, you need folks to come through the doors, but at the same time, you can always use more people to be available to help tutor. The more people, then the less work there. And
Absolutely.
Obviously, you work around folks' schedules, so a lot of the volunteer work probably happens afternoons, weekends, nights. When people are available. So you don't have a stable of volunteers that are free all of those times.
No.
So it's nice to have, this person's available on Tuesdays to do this. This person's available on Thursdays. So even if you got it 1 day a week or a couple hours a week to help out, that would be awesome. So please reach out.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
We will help people reach American citizenship. We did that last year for 2 people.
Awesome.
And that's kind of very interesting. And we used to tutor at the Youth Challenge, but they will probably start that up in August.
Yeah, they had to really lock down for COVID and things, and they're starting to peek their head out of the hole now and looking and getting back to normal. So yeah, you guys will probably be busy back over there again pretty soon. Yeah. So that's a good thing. Yeah, good deal. So let me ask you this: back pre-COVID and stuff, you guys would always have the Knowledge Bowl and stuff like that. Is that on the radar again?
Well, we're looking to do it in probably October after school gets going.
Good.
Get out of their hair.
Well, good. Well, we look forward to that. We'll bring it back here after taking a little bit of a hiatus because of COVID.
Yeah, we'd like to promote it to every organization. Any 5 people who feel like they want to help or get smart on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, and it's fun.
Yeah.
It really
absolutely.
And to be honest, it's not like you're asking to go out and run a mile or you know what I mean. It's like come do a 5K fun run. It's like ain't fun about running. But I will sit there and pontificate and act. You know what I mean? You can prove how smart I am. You know, and that's what it is. It's as much bragging, right? Because and we'll talk more as we get here in October. But put it on people's radars now. They get teams of how many is on the team?
Up to 5.
Up to 5.
Yeah, if you're really smart, you could be the only one. But,
sure.
You know.
Yeah, you can have one if you. But it is a team.
Yes.
Team sport and no I in team and all that stuff. But yeah, you know, if you were one of those people that kind of, you know, I'm full of knowledge or you know, but really the expert move is you got a team of 5. You get 5 experts and 5, and hopefully, you know, you got your sports person, you got your
teenager.
Yeah, you got your teenager for pop culture. You got your history buff. You got, you know, ideally you want to have like all your bases covered. So you're but you should basically have an expert in every category of questions that about. But anyway, it's a big knowledge bowl that raises money for the Literacy Council. But we'll get into that here. But that'll be in the fall. But if you love that kind of stuff, be listening because here in probably like you said October time frame, they're going to have that knowledge bowl again, and it's a great time to for bragging rights and supporting the Literacy Council and all that good stuff, and win some prizes.
In the past, the Eagles and the Lions and the Sertoma have had members.
Yeah,
and each one of those won in 1 year. So
you got to dethrone them.
Yeah,
someone's got to come in and dethrone them. So
and we get most of our money from United Way, which is not a lot, but it's nice. But we don't spend a lot of money, so
sure.
we operate on the cheap. We have our own building. We have computers. We can tutor about any subject if we get a tutor who knows what he or she is talking about.
So really, probably your big expense is the materials, right? Is the workbooks and all the stuff that you guys use to tutor these individuals and things like that. So that's where really the money goes. Is all the which. If you ever bought learning materials, it's not cheap. It's kind of like you know like when you go to college and you got to buy the professor's book and it's $200. You know why it's $200? Because they're not selling that book unless you buy it for the class. That's why if there was an audience for that book, you could buy it for $10.99 at the bookstore. But because it's a niche market, it's kind of the deal there. So you're dealing with a little bit of that. That's why the materials and things are very proprietized and expensive and stuff like that. So like you say, don't spend a lot of money, but where it goes into that, a lot of it. So if you want to help financially, that's a good way too. That'll always help go towards paying for more materials or updated materials, or because I'm sure it's like any other industry where the materials evolve and change over time, and you know how we taught it 10 years ago is different than how we teach it now.
Well, we have GED books that they're pretty standard.
Gotcha.
If someone wants to get a GED, we can go through the book, find out what they don't know.
Which, by the way, if you don't have that, you're really, I'm telling you, you probably already learned this lesson yourself, but it's really hard to get anywhere without that GED. And, it's unless you're an entrepreneur and can start your own thing, odds are you're going to be minimum wage, bare minimum type jobs until you get that GED, and that gets your foot in the door for either further education or into those jobs that are more family supporting career type jobs, and things like that. So, but if you have these issues, please reach out. This is because and a lot of the folks that come to your door, they can read, but maybe not at the levels of which, maybe, depending on their age, maybe they're older and, they're farmer ranchers. And so their education kind of stopped 6th, 7th grade or something like that. And so they're not reading at a level that they should be at. And so you can help those folks with all of that stuff. That's what we want to, if you're having those kind of issues, or if you're needing a GED, or you're wanting to learn English and tired of functioning in society, trying to understand everybody, reach out to the Literacy Council. Let's get that ball rolling. Let's even if it's baby steps, put yourself in that direction to better yourself and utilize resources like the Literacy Council to do that. These are the things that we live in a world where, people want to help, people want things, but you still have to take the first step forward. You have to be, because at the end of the day, you guys could give them all the material in the world, but if they're not willing to open the book and read it, or you know what I mean, you've got to put that effort in. So that's what I love about this, because I'm thinking people that come through your doors, they probably tried it their own way a few times, and it probably didn't go well and things like that. So if you're thinking, I couldn't handle it before, come reach out to Literacy Council. Let those resources, let the volunteers, let all the stuff, the expertise that's there work for you instead of you trying to do it on your own or doing it. Or because that, I would imagine too, you probably have people that are frustrated and maybe they tried, but they didn't succeed, or they gave up, or it just got too hard, whatever. If you've hit that wall, don't quit. Reach out to the Literacy Council.
Absolutely.
Reach out to the Literacy Council. Maybe you're this close, and we just need a little something to kind of make the light bulb come on for you. That's all it takes. But that's what it's about. Now, as far as tutors go, too, again, you don't have to be like a college professor to be a tutor to help out. I mean, obviously, if you know how to read, and these are things you want, but sure, if there's retired teachers and educators out there, love to have you volunteer. But just because you're not that doesn't mean you can't be a tutor, right? I mean, that's something we want to point out too.
Well, I'm an engineer. I wasn't a teacher, although I subbed a few times.
Sure.
But I do math, and out at the Youth Challenge, I have maybe an hour, 2 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. So that's two guys, who need help, who may not even know how to do multiplication tables, who either flunked out of high school or quit.
Sure.
And by the way, the Youth Challenge is probably one of the very best investments this state can make. I guarantee you. It keeps a lot of kids out of jail.
Well, what I like about it too is it gives, humans don't learn the same way. You know what I mean? And you have kids that succeed in school, they find, but then there's kids that, they're learning, they just don't embrace that, or it doesn't register. And I think Job Corps does a good job of bringing those kids in and saying, you know what, the traditional paths don't work for you. Let's try something a little out of the box here. And so they're training these kids and giving them the same qualifications and skills, but presenting it in ways that they understand, or they get, or they can put practice to it. They're learning them They're learning them skills there, but no, they're teaching them. These skills that will translate into something tangible that they can, and I think there's a difference there when they get to that stage and they can see, okay, I'm learning something that's actually going to benefit me. It's not something in theory or in concept, or, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, why do I need to learn this calculus? When am I going to use calculus? And it's like, well, on the surface, you don't. But let me show you how you apply it, and then you start doing things. Say you're going to be at this job, that you're going to, and once they see it that way, they're like, okay, now that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you go into any engineering, you need to know some calculus.
Yeah.
Just in the back of your mind. You don't. Let's face it, with all computers nowadays, most of the work is done.
Sure.
But you got to know what's going on to verify it.
Well, and a computer breaks from time to time.
Right.
That still happens.
So do people.
And the most inconvenient times, by the way. It's like, I don't need to learn math. Because when I was a kid, it was like, there's a calculator. Why do I need to learn my times tables? I got a calculator right here.
Right.
No, not all the time is that calculator going to be handy to you. And you want to figure out something real quick, or are you going to sit there and wait till you get a calculator? Or are you going to do some ciphering in your head? And most of us do ciphering in our head.
Yeah.
So. But it does. It really. So you're right about Job Corps. I love what they're doing. It's great to see that they're finally able to start getting back to the business of doing Job Corps again. So I imagine, like you said earlier, you guys are probably going to be a lot more involved in some of their stuff.
Well, we think so, but we'll find out.
Yeah, good deal. So in the meantime, if you're needing help, assistance, if you're trying to get, and this is for, there's no age requirements
It's
here.
mostly adults, but we'll take children.
Sure.
Basically teenagers.
Sure. If kids that aren't young adults. We'll go with that, right?
Yeah,
The kids are more mature, and you can leave them by themselves for a little bit to be educated and things. Not the age of kids where we got to take them to potty, we got to take them to, you know what I mean? Not that age. We got other tutors who can help. But for adults and things like that, or high school kids, if you need help there, or especially high school kids, if you're studying for SATs and ACTs and all that, I know there's a lot of resources. Can't hurt to have another one in the party here to help out a little bit and let you go over some of this stuff and get you prepared for some of these college prep type things and whatever resource, especially with COVID and where some of your resources dried up. Let's find some new resources and let's find some other resources. And the Literacy Council absolutely is that resource for you. So,
and it's free.
And it's free of charge. Every service that's provided through the Literacy Council does not cost any of its members a dime. It's all free of charge. So that being said, for folks out there that love what the Literacy Council does and loves seeing those kind of things in our community, support it either financially or physically. By cut a check and that helps pay for materials, or donate an hour or two or a week or a day or two a week or whatever you can afford time-wise, and sit down with some of our folks here and spend an hour, showing what maybe you're a math teacher, maybe you're a bank teller, and you're like, oh, you know what? I deal with money all day and things. I would be glad to teach some math to some of these folks. Or I'm writing grants and stuff all day. Let's work on some of these English skills and some of the writing skills and some of these folks. Things you do in your day job can easily translate into intuitable teaching skills and some of this stuff and translating into that. So please volunteer. What else we got? Did we get it all?
Well, I didn't mention our building is located on 10th Street between Union and Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And it's available, like I said, someone will be there from 1 to 5, or to say noon to 5.
Noon to 5.
On Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
So you can just come on in.
If I get this myself.
So you can come on in between noon and 5 those 3 days,
yes.
Anytime, and talk to a live person there.
Right.
What's the phone number over there if they want to? If they can't make it or want to leave a voicemail.
575-625-1369.
Okay. And so call, and if you don't get a live person, leave a voicemail, and they'll get back to you when business hours are there.
Leave a message anytime.
Yeah. And then, of course, you can look for Roswell Literacy Council on Facebook. There's Facebook and everything in there. So you can shoot a message through there, and someone will get back to you as well, too. So that's another great way to reach out if you have any questions or have any want to volunteer or need services, any way to get to there. So, good deal. Did we get it all?
Well, I want to make sure that everyone realizes we came down here today basically to promote it, but also to encourage new volunteers, tutors. We can use more.
Always can have more.
And we also want to encourage students, people who want to learn something. Mostly adults, and we get a lot of English as a second language people. Who are trying to learn English. That makes sense.
But anyone that's looking to better themselves, whether it's formally or informally, maybe you're retired and I don't know, I know a lot of times parents are trying to teach their kids and things and like, well, you don't know it. Make that deal with your kids. Like, all right, you go through it, I'll go through with you. You know what I mean? And use it as a challenge for your own kids. All of this is good stuff. So please. And then, like you said, if you got an hour or two a week to donate to help someone become literate. If you've got, whatever it is, now that the summer's getting here, people's times and schedules are, some are freeing up, some are shifting to other things. But if you're looking, maybe even some college kids that are looking to, maybe they're going to go to be teachers and things like that. Maybe volunteer this summer out at the Literacy Council to help, educate some of these other folks and use this as some of your training towards your goals and dreams and pursuits. So. Reach out. It's opportunities are there, and I'll kind of close with this. You're going to get more benefit out of doing things like this. Like the world we live in, it's easy to get frustrated and get seeing things and just shake your head at what's going on. But then you spend an hour with someone and help them see a light bulb about a moment, or you have that moment where you're just sitting down and next thing you know, a person you were dealing with is now proficient in some math thing or can write a paragraph now that is structured properly and is cognizant and clear and they didn't have that ability and you helped them do that. I'm telling you, that feeds your own soul and feeds your own nourishment too, because now you feel like you've got purpose. You feel like you've made a difference. You're making an impact on someone's life, and that feels pretty good when you do that. So if you're looking to maybe, you're having your own, wanting to get involved and feeling a little like out of the loop on some things, volunteer. Come out and get involved and help some people, and you're going to find yourself benefiting from it as much, if not more, than the people you're helping sometimes. So reach out. Good deal. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Let me give that phone number
one more time. Give out that phone number for me. Yeah.
575, which is pretty normal, and 625-1369.
Very good. And call if you call during business hours, you get a person. But if you don't, you get the voicemail. Leave a message. They will get back to you as soon as humanly possible.
We have a lot of volunteers that are willing to do that.
Excellent. Okay. Excellent. Well, David, Larry, appreciate it. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you next time, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'll be brushing up on my knowledge, my useless information. I'll be an encyclopedia.
Well, you were there last time, so you know how much fun it was.
It was. I think we came in second that year. We did. Our team did. So, but we were pretty good. We had a bunch of useless knowledge people sitting there, too. So, thank
That's
you,
right.
guys.
You get a guy who the only thing he knows is sports. So what? Bring him along.
That's right. Bring him on.
Yeah.
Hey, there's going to be at least one or two questions. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
So, thank you, guys. We'll see you next time, okay?
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
All right, 9:38. We're going to pause for news and your Wall Street business update, and then we'll talk with Homes for Heroes on the other side. Don't go away.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. Serious injuries from a crash reported on Memorial Day along US 285. A statement from the Chavez County Sheriff's Office says it happened Monday on US 285 northbound near mile marker 122. Two vehicles crashed nearly head-on. However, the extent of injuries, how many injuries there were, or the victims' identities have not been made available. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office on the lookout for a man reportedly involved in a shooting of an 18-year-old woman in Hondo late last week. A be-on-the-lookout order was issued for 28-year-old Hondo resident Walter M. Flores. Police said on May 28th, deputies responded to a private residence in Hondo for a shooting. The teen victim is said to be recovering at a hospital. However, Flores fled the scene. He has not been captured, so if you know anything, you are urged to call police. You're up to date. That's a look at local news headlines. I'm Jared Cirillo.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Wall Street started the day in the red as traders returned to work following the long holiday weekend. Consumer confidence, as measured by the Conference Board, edged lower this month for the second straight month as Americans' view of their present and future prospects dim in the midst of persistently high inflation. The European Union has agreed to an embargo on most Russian oil imports by year's end, sparking a fresh spike in crude prices. Oil prices up almost 60% this year, rose another 3%, nearing $120 per barrel. President Biden meeting with Fed Chairman Jerome Powell today as soaring inflation continues to sap the buying and earning power of Americans. The meeting is the first since Biden renominated Powell to lead the central bank and weeks after the Senate confirmed Powell to a second term as Fed chairman. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
The truth and nothing but. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
I'll say this, Stacey Abrams certainly did not help herself out at all. And she wants to be the governor of the state of Georgia, but she declared over the weekend that Georgia is the worst state in the country to live. She actually said those words. It's not sitting well with voters going into this primary election. And my answer to her is, well, if you don't like it, Stacey, there's 49 other states you're free to go live in. If you think Georgia is the worst state, I lived in Georgia 4 years. I can tell you it's one of the best states in the country. I love Georgia. Everywhere from Atlanta to Savannah and everywhere in between. It is a beautiful, beautiful state with wonderful people.
Keeping you on the straight path. Later today, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
Stock market have you nervous? With geopolitical conflict and inflation concerns, it's virtually impossible to guess what will happen next. But with Vantage Point, you don't have to. Learn to trade with artificial intelligence. Text the word money to 813813 and discover how to predict stock market trends up to 3 days ahead with incredible accuracy. Whether you trade stocks, options, forex, futures, or crypto, Vantage Point's patented artificial intelligence can give you a massive edge. Text the word money to 813813 to get what you need to stay ahead of the markets and find big moves before they happen. Don't wait. Text the word money to 813813.
Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Past results do not guarantee future performance. By texting, you agree to the terms available at VantagePointSoftware.com/terms and consent to receive calls and text using automated technology about offers or info by or on behalf of Vantage Point. Your consent is not a condition to purchase and can be revoked at any time. Message and data rates may apply.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Slugs have 4 noses, but no fingers to pick them. Here's Mike Winters.
It's a travesty. Good morning. It is 43 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning, Barbara Gomez back with us, wearing a different hat than last time we talked to her. And Jeremy, I'm going to botch this. Anjanen? Anjanen. All right.
Very close.
I was close. I went a little hard on my A.
You overdid it.
Today wearing our, well, it's not Homes for Heroes anymore, but our Homes for Heroes hat.
Yes.
Same mission statement.
Same mission.
Different
name.
organization name now. So.
Yeah, a new name. They made us change it, Mike.
Okay. Someone, was it taken or some kind of
Homes for Heroes is a national
trademark
is a national company, and even though we were called Homes for Heroes of Chaves County, they said it was still too close.
Too close enough.
And apparently they might be coming to Roswell at the point they're a real estate company of some sort. I don't know.
Really?
Either way, they asked us to stop using Chaves Homes for Heroes.
Make a donation. We'll be happy to.
I know. You know what? I didn't think about that. Because you are Homes for Heroes and you're not helping heroes.
Yeah, if you're a for-profit organization, let's help a nonprofit.
That's right. That's right. They actually were for-profit, so they didn't do that. But either way, we have a new name. It's called Chaves County Heroes. Our mission is still the same.
Good deal. Helping our heroes locally here.
That's right.
Our military, first responders, but if you're not familiar with the mission, you're kind of a stopgap for veterans and folks.
Yeah.
So if a veteran living on their own is got a house that needs some work, maybe they recently put in a wheelchair, they need to get ramps put in, or perhaps their plumbing or heating's below standards and need some help and upgrades. Chaves County Heroes comes in and says, let's get you guys back to where you need to be.
Right. And we are all kind of like everybody else is after the pandemic. We're trying to figure out where we are and who we are and what we need to do overall. Veterans, I believe, need help all of the time.
And as a veteran, and you probably know this yourself, we're the biggest stubborn group of people on the planet.
Yes.
We could literally have our arm laying on the floor and be like, you need some help? No, I'm good.
No. I need a Band-Aid. I'm fine. Just give me a Band-Aid.
Yeah,
but,
and there's a mindset, a lot of. So you got to fight through that a little bit. Mm-hmm. But trust me, they do need help, and it's great that and at some point, they probably get to a point when you talk to them, it's like, I could probably use some help with the plumbing here, or with air conditioning or something.
Mike, sometimes it goes from one end to the other. Sometimes they don't want any help, or sometimes they want tons of help that we can't afford to help them with.
Sure.
But I want to let you know that our group is a little bit smaller than it used to be in terms of our board. And Jeremy just recently joined us, and so I'm really excited that he's here with me today.
Good deal.
Because he stepped up and said, what can I do? What can I help with? And he agreed to come to the radio with me to talk to you. So that's huge, don't you think?
And it's good to have fresh perspective in it.
It is. It actually is.
When you're doing something for years and you get set in your ways a little bit, not saying that's a bad thing, but sometimes opportunities are missed when that happens.
Right.
And so now when there's new blood, fresh blood to kind of be a part of the team and to help out, it brings new ideas, it brings new challenges, it brings new opportunities. And so that's the great thing about it. It's, you know what? Now that we've got some other new energized folks that are here, that's going to take us to the next level and be able to help more people and to create more opportunities to take care of our veterans and folks that took care of us.
Sure.
When they were
You
able
want
to.
to tell them why you wanted to join us, Jeremy?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I moved to Roswell about a year ago, middle of June last year. Start working out here. And I'm a Marine Corps veteran. Got out in 2012. Did the education thing after that. Finally settled on a job here, started working.
GI Bill's one of the best on the planet.
Yeah, GI Bill is a savior, and yeah, it's a great thing. But anyways, I moved out here. I started looking around because I wanted to get involved in the community, and especially in the veteran community, because Chaves County has a large military veteran presence.
We do.
And coming off of the pandemic, especially, I know a lot of veterans struggled. Are continuing
and are
to
struggling.
struggle.
Yeah.
So joining this group, Chaves County Heroes, it's just a match made in heaven as far as I'm concerned. 'Cause I think we can do a lot of good, and we plan on doing a lot of good. In the community.
And really, you guys are limited to the people that you have. So the more volunteers, the more that creates more ability to help more. The more resources. If there's folks out there that are in some of these contracting industries. If you're a plumber, if you're an electrician, if you're a AC guy or a carpenter or any of these skilled labor, tile work, whatever. If these are your bread and butter, your day things. If you want to get back a little bit and help your skills, your expertise would be greatly beneficial to Chaves County Heroes because, a lot of times it's coming in and saying, all right, we gotta redo this guy's kitchen or we gotta build these ramps and, we'd like it level.
Right.
That makes it easier. Yeah.
Makes it easier. To
By
get
the
around.
way, that ramp shouldn't look like a ramp we're jumping Knievel off of. Maybe let's lower that grade a little bit.
Might be a little dangerous.
Yeah. We ain't jumping over the Caesar's Palace fountain here. We're just trying to get up on the porch.
Right.
Stuff like that. So your expertise is needed to do this.
Well, you know, Mike, I was the president for a little bit, and then I stepped away for a little bit, thought I was just going to, kick back and do something else and help somebody else for a while. But our director decided he was retiring. Our president actually decided he was going to retire and wanted something else to do.
Gotcha.
And so guess what? I'm back to being
You're back in the-
I'm back to being president.
Back in the saddle. Huh?
Back in the saddle again. But I just want to let everybody know what our mission of our organization is. It is to provide assistance and or coordinate housing resources for veterans and first responders and their families and their widows.
Yeah.
So it's not just, it's not just veterans. We're looking at first responders.
Yeah.
If you guys need help out there.
Yeah, our paramedics and officers and fire, rescue, all those folks. Yeah.
And I mean, we don't have tons of money, but one thing that we like to do is we just like to assist, anybody that needs help. So we used to previously, before the pandemic started, we had a lot of referrals. We were getting a lot of referrals from a lot of different places. And that's what I was telling Jeremy. It just seems like it's just stopped off.
Gotcha.
And I just don't know why. I'm sure there's veterans out there that need help. I know there is.
Absolutely.
So where are they? Maybe they don't know about us. And that's why we thank you, Mike, for letting us come talk to you today.
And you always hear the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, unfortunately, veterans aren't usually a squeaky wheel. And that's and that's why it's easy where it's like, oh, yeah, everyone will put out a meme or a different colored ribbon and say all that stuff all day. But when all that goes and the lights are done and the day's over, they go back and be quiet and they don't raise a fuss. They don't. And so this organization almost has to be proactive to go out to them because they're not necessarily always going to come to you.
Right. I think one of the, if I can say this, one of the things that Barbara is wanting to do and what we're wanting to do as an organization is to work closely in conjunction with the VSO, the Veteran Service Officer here in town. VSOs just across statewide are, I believe, severely underutilized, and they are overburdened right now. So if they can, any time a VSO can pass off maybe an issue getting a DD-214 for a veteran because those are extremely important.
Absolutely. You have to live and die by that thing.
Yeah, you have to have it for essentially everything to prove that you're in the service. But anytime a VSO can kind of pass off getting a DD-214 or something like that to us, to a nonprofit that we can handle, that kind of eases their burden too that they're feeling.
Absolutely.
And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, what we're also working on most recently that we talked about during our board meeting is we've been having having guests come speak to us about what they do in the community. So we had like the Homeless Coalition, which we were really surprised, I was anyway, to find out how much they can do in the community.
And how many veterans they deal with in the homeless situation on a daily basis.
They deal with a lot of them, and they have needs all the time. Everything from needing socks and underwears to maybe needing help with home issues.
Sure. Or putting them in touch with VA reps and, putting them in front of these places where they can get some actual financial aid and things that they've earned as veterans,
Right. In this last meeting we had, he was a veterans representative for Yvette Harrell. He came, he talked to us via, he called us in, but he told us about so many resources. So my plan right now for this coming year is to create a veterans resource guide of sorts. So maybe that we can hand out, because we are just
pool of information, that place to go to be that resource to find out, how do I do X?
Yeah, how do I get this? Where do I go to get this? Because they gave us a whole list of different things where veterans can get assistance.
Sure.
I mean, Goodwill helps veterans a lot, and they've been a really big source for us. But unfortunately, their local person is no longer here. So now we have a regional person, and you know how that works.
Sure.
Now our referrals are really not coming in
until they get that person that's dedicated to our area. It's going to be hit or miss.
To our area.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike, I'm sure you know this too. Just after serving, when you're separating from the military will often throw a lot of information at you, a lot of resources that aren't often not compiled.
Yeah.
So after you separate for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you don't remember everything that you were told. Well, I need this resource. I need to go to this person.
Sure.
And so that's one of the reasons we're doing this, is so veterans have that cheat sheet, if you will.
Absolutely.
To go to.
Yeah, you're right, Jeremy. I remember when I processed out and they got you going through all kind of classes and things. And I'm not saying it's bad.
Just too much information.
It's a lot. And oh, by the way, you're thinking about all the other transitions in your life. With you're going from 3 hots and a cot to you're on your own, son.
Right.
I got to navigate that.
A little bit different. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing I think that this is going to serve is we want to be able to put this in other people's hands. So if these veterans end up in the hospital, or maybe they're in the police department, maybe they're here or there throughout town, that you can hand them something and say, look, call Chaves County Heroes, or call the Homeless Coalition.
Yeah.
So that you're not standing there without any answers for them, at least to guide them somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing. And so for folks out here listening, we're looking for volunteers, more people to serve and things. And of course, we're looking for those veterans. If you know veterans that are in need, or first responders, that retired folks that are, folks that they served our community for hunks of their life, and now they're living and needing help, or whatever it is, whether it's physical needs like plumbing and air conditioning, or they don't have any
small needs.
Yeah,
I mean anything.
But even if it's connecting to, look, they got no money coming in. They're veteran. Certainly there's programs and things that they should be getting, and just putting them on y'all's radar so you can go in and start going through the gauntlet of different ways that we can let them support themselves through the things that they've earned already. And that's just it. And this is where we get into veterans being stubborn. They don't see it as something they've earned. It's like, no. When you gave up your rights, because that's what you do when you sign up with the military, you don't fall under the Constitution anymore. You're under UCMJ. Therefore, you're not protected by the Constitution anymore. It's a big deal when you sign your name on that piece of paper. You're giving up a lot of yourself to do that. And I'm not even talking about the ability to put yourself on the life on the line. I'm just talking about the ancillary stuff.
Yeah.
But because of that alone, you've earned that. Now that you've done your service, things like your GI Bill, things like your VA benefits, for, buying your first home, or getting whatever it is you need, or even taking advantage of private companies that cater to veterans. There's a lot of perks through that, insurance and all those kind of things. But you guys can help them get in touch with all that stuff and say, look, these are your avenues. Let us start the paperwork for you so you can go through it. Now you won't need us, and you're hunky-dory.
Right. And of course, Danielle at the VSO here in town, she's fantastic. I mean, she will help. And a lot of times they do come to us, and the way that they help us, Mike, is it's true. You have veterans that don't want any help at all, or say, I'm just fine, I don't really need anything. And then you have veterans that say, hey, can you put me in a brand new HVAC unit or whatever? And we're going, we don't have that kind of money, but let's figure out what we can do for you.
Let's see if we can find a workaround or an alternative. Yeah.
And what Danielle does to help us is she can review their funding, and we can look into things and say, okay, how much money do you actually have coming in? Oh, wow. Okay, well, we can help you with this much. We can't help you with this. Because, I mean, honestly, we could blow our little bit of money that we have left, because right now we don't have tons of it.
Sure.
So that's another thing we can...
One veteran, it can wipe you out.
One veteran can wipe...
How much they need,
Yeah, with their big needs, they can wipe us out.
Yeah.
I mean, so we try to, spread it out as far as we can. If you're out there and you are not, maybe you know somebody that needs help, but maybe you're someone that would like to donate to this group. We are a 501c3 community charity. Just most recent.
So tax write-off and everything
tax
else.
Write-off
even with the new name and everything, good
even
to go.
with the new name. Do you know when we first started, or when I first started with this group, we found out that it was all done correctly, but somebody forgot to check a box. And guess what, Mike? When that did that kind of screwed us for a little bit. But we got that fixed now. And so now we're a 501c3,
Good
so
deal.
you can donate to us. We do accept, we do apply for grants. We take community donations.
Sure.
We took, as a matter of fact, we just met also with Chaves County Veteran Group, the veterans group that does the cemetery.
Yeah.
And they have, they do all kinds of funding themselves. So they have volunteered to help us. They say, if you have somebody out there, they need physical help, you need money for something, we'll help you guys out.
Absolutely. And that's what, and at the end of the day, that's what Chaves County Home Heroes does, really.
Chaves County Heroes.
It really is that, whether if you don't help directly, you're the conduit that gets them in touch with the people for that. And so that's what it's about. So if you want to be a part of that, either by donating financially or volunteering of your time, or offering up your services, like I was saying earlier, if you're a skilled laborer, and you want to volunteer some of your time. I know you're probably busy, and I get that, and you run a business and all that. But if you got a little time or a little manpower, and you want to donate it to Chaves County Heroes, they would love to have you do that to help fix somebody's fence or whatever it is that needs to be done.
We have two categories that you can volunteer as. You can either be a director, like Jeremy has decided he would like to be a director. A director makes decisions about where this organization is going and what we're doing. So it's really, really important. I've become a little bit, I don't want to say picky, but I want people to make sure they know what they're getting into. If you say, I want to volunteer, but I can't come to any meetings. I want to be a director, but I can't come to any meetings. No, we need directors. Because we vote on things.
You need people in the room making decisions.
That's right. And now we have the category of volunteers, and those people don't have to make decisions. They just help us when we need help.
Yeah. I just saw the time. We're about to get kicked off the radio. So
Ali,
if anybody wants to learn more, what's the best way? Is it through website or phone number? What's probably the best way to reach out?
They can probably call me. I think it's the best number. It's 575-626-8033.
Okay.
Or, Jeremy, if you want to give them your number.
Sure. Yeah, it's 512-897-97